And we're back. Welcome to another mind map session. We're doing something a little different today. I kind of started in with the Hollywood thing, but I guess while I was doing that mind map and I was so deep into the Reiner thing, I totally missed what that whole Sasha Riley thing was going on yesterday. And you guys were all talking about it. And I thought you guys were talking about a politician. And silly me, I'm sorry. I, was running on not much sleep, and obviously had been working pretty hard on that other mind map. But now that I'm caught up on that, and I have a better hang of the mind map software, I figured we may as well dive right into the whole network of it all. This is something I'm just kind of glad people are catching up, because I had been talking about the connections between not just Epstein and Trump, but Epstein, Trump, and Diddy through the whole situation. Especially while the Diddy trial and all that was happening, I was trying to speak out about how there was more to it. There was more connections, and a lot of people thought I was nuts. And I had even survivors and different people kind of arguing with me, and were heavy supporters of Trump, going to clean the swamp or drain the swamp or whatever. And and I wanted that for them. I didn't want to be right about Trump. I really had hoped he was going to be a good guy, and was, some people had thought, oh, he was a double agent, or, I'd heard all kinds of different things from different people that, had their own feelings and thoughts and beliefs about it. And that's fine. Everybody's entitled to that. But, I had been pointing out certain things that seemed pretty suspicious to me, and the crime of opportunity and how many connections there were. And, I don't know. I had my own feelings about it, obviously. And so for me, the Riley, the Sasha Riley, and more of these victims now just coming out and speaking openly, all of it is really just, it's further confirmation. And I'm glad that more people are having an open mind for it. Because I think, not only is it just that some people, it's they really wanted to believe he was a good guy. I think, there's also some fear involved in some of it, in really wanting to look behind the curtain, especially when it comes to these levels. But I think being Canadian, maybe I have a little bit of a shield of safety and distance and anonymity here, that I'm comfortable going ahead and let's map it out. Now this is just bare bones. I kind of was just putting this together just to get us started, and obviously I need to do a thumbnail for something. I couldn't just have a blank slate for a thumbnail. So I did some groundwork here, and I think you guys can see. I've got to see where the boundaries are, where you can see, because it kind of cuts off on the edges there. But I've started adding some notes. Started throwing in a couple of the properties, the main properties, the Epstein properties, the Trump property that happens to be 5 minutes away from the Florida mansion, Epstein's Florida mansion, that was lesser known, not as many people talk about it, but it was literally 5 minutes up the road. Whoop, we're going too far. It's 5 minutes up the road, and it would be very easy to get to and from there by boat, probably even faster. You could swim there. You could walk there. What is it for walking? It's not going to tell me. There's no way to walk, I guess, but I'm sure you can still walk down the side of the road. It'd be 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe. So I've sort of already thought, just because he had publicly distanced himself didn't mean there wasn't still connections there. Ghislaine had still been seen out and about and going to events, and we know that she was the go-between anyways. Epstein wasn't going and finding the girls himself, and we know that a lot of the girls came from Mar-a-Lago. They were girls working there for the summer. That's where Virginia Roberts, may she rest in peace. That's where she was recruited from. And it's obviously, it's clear as day to me that there had to have been something going on there, and that, after hours and at different times, they could still be privately in cahoots to an extent, I don't know why the chat's not keeping up. Is it keeping up for you guys? Hold on, I might gotta refresh this. But welcome everybody. What's up, go play outside? There we go. It wasn't coming up for me on my end, and I have to move some stuff around, because the where I'm using the mind map to be able to see it big, it kind of covers my other stuff, so I need to hold on. Let me rearrange some of these windows so I can be a little more on top of chat. Yesterday I was so tired too, and I was like trying to keep up with the chat and then trying to pay attention to what Des was talking about, and then you guys were talking about the Riley thing, and I was like, I was so out to lunch on that, so I'm so sorry guys, but we're here now. Welcome THX, Peggy, Cupcake Explosion, Joker No. Welcome guys. You think that he... Yeah, I mean, some people have their feelings about what happened with Ivanka, or Ivana. Is it Ivana or Ivanka? I think Ivanka's the daughter, right? But I think it's actually at Mar-a-Lago. I'd have to double check this. Maybe fact check me because I can't be 100% sure. But I'm pretty sure Mar-a-Lago is where he had her buried, so that he doesn't pay tax on the property because it counts as like a cemetery or something to that effect. There's some loophole there or some benefit to have her there. So there's also that. But anyways, so I figured this is like going to be a group project. I'll start filling in a few more things because, I mean, as far as the political stuff, and there's a lot of it that I wasn't really paying as much attention to, but for what I had paid attention to and what had stood out to me that was compelling, just the fact of how many things he was connected to and for what durations and periods of time, and how that all fed into the fashion industry, the modeling industry, the people that they were working with, they were both working with on two ends. Like, it just, there are connections there. We can't deny that. And I'm not accusing anybody without them being found guilty or not guilty in the court of law. This, obviously, I'm not a judge and a jury, or, I'm not law enforcement or whatever. So none of this is, unless otherwise stated, like in this case, this guy who connects to royalty, and there's a whole thing going on there. We're going to fill that in. But this guy, right away, there's like 2 degrees away of a guy that repeatedly had been caught with material that he should not have had. And, up till 2018, and I guess he's right now, he's serving 10 years. I should actually probably throw that in there. Whatever, we'll add as we go, but we'll get you caught up here. As a lot of people also believe that the way that Melania was brought into the country and what the circumstances were, that in some ways may have been a bit of like a trafficking situation initially. Whether or not she was actually trafficked to Trump or not, I don't know. That's debatable. People have their own opinions and thoughts and feelings on that. But if you look at some of the pictures of her with this guy, if you look him up and you look her up, the look on her face is very similar to that one John Bonet picture where that vacant look in her eyes. And it's in the intro to the John Bonet series. So if you guys haven't seen that, and you want to check it out quick, it's within that 30 seconds or a minute, whatever the intro is for that. But that where she's like looking up at the camera and she's got that stark vacant look in her eye. It's sort of the similar as what Melania was looking when she was really young, and this guy had brought her in and she was doing the modeling thing. And then she was introduced to Trump, and there's a whole story there too. Welcome, Mystery Diva. Welcome, Andy, Veronica. And that's what I've been trying to say all along. And I've been kind of tracking the whole traffic jam situation for a long time now. Like, we've been following some stuff in the back end. As much as I cover like the Hollywood stuff and how that in a big way can be exploitation and trafficking right on our face, I do kind of follow along the things in the background. And I mean, if Diddy and Epstein were no longer in the game, the yearly profits of the traffic jams should have been decreasing or at least slowing down, but it seems like it's exploding year on year. And when you look at the kind of corruption and things going on that are being revealed, like everything at the same time right now, to do with the daycare centers and just place like the different companies that are working together that are one step away from being able to do trafficking under the radar. Because how is it happening in a mass surveillance state? How does $100+ billion a year industry exist right under our noses in a mass surveillance society? How does that happen? Right? Like all these kids, million of kids going missing every year, all this stuff happening. And it's literally happening right under our noses because, like, a kilo of cocaine doesn't cry or need to be fed or, do you know what I mean? So, obviously, it's a lot more of a higher risk, more complicated situation. The kind of organized crime syndicates that need to exist to be working together is like, it's almost incomprehensible until you start putting it on a map, I guess. So, there, here we are. But so if you guys were following with Nick Shirley, the Minnesota situation, which, like, that's not an isolated situation. That's not just Minnesota, Minneapolis, or wherever the hell that is. That's the kind of shit going on everywhere. And when you look at the certain companies they had working together, between the transportation companies, the healthcare, the childcare, the vulnerable people, the little buses, like, to transport old people and stuff, like, all these little companies, they're literally just one thread away from being like, okay, well, we're already doing corruption and fraud, and there's already kids involved. How do we make more money on this, right? How are they making so much money? Not just, like, there's the campaign contributions too. Like, there's money they're receiving from the state, and with a lot of, like, lack of oversight for that happening on its own. But then there's the campaign contributions, and there's a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes. So that's, like, one little isolated event. And then that's, like, street level crime. We're talking, like, the street level dealer, the average Joes. They get off their day job and they're looking to, whatever, to harm and trespass against children. Like, there's not really any nicer way to say it. Try to say it as censored as possible, but I refuse to adopt the TikTok dialect. But anyway, there's different levels, and it's like the rot is from the bottom to the top. So when we talk about the Minnesota thing, we talk about all of that. That's like I said, that's like your average mid-level. Maybe they're a little bit higher up. Maybe it's some of the local political people, or the local people running some stuff. Business owners, people with a little more money. But we're still talking pretty low, mid to low level on the hierarchy of it all. But when you look at the Epstein situation, now we're talking about elite, okay? So rather than it being like a daycare or whatever, like school people in the schools, coaches, like, there's always these different people that how they're somehow connected in and getting access to children, and that's how this shit happens, right? But with the elites, they're obviously looking for and willing to pay for specifics, I guess you could say. They can have a criteria and specifications for what they would like, versus, like, here's your $100, you get what you get, and you don't get upset. And it's such a foul and vulgar way of putting it, and I know, and it's almost just turning my stomach, just the way that came out of my mouth. But honestly, like, there's no better way to talk about this. It's all very fucked up, and it should make us all sick to our stomachs, and it should be so revolting and so stomach churning that we fucking do something about it, that we all start doing more about it. Like, and I don't think Nick Shirley even realized what he was stumbling into. I think he really just thought it was this big fraud thing, but when I'm looking at it, I see a whole different thing, right? So, anyways, we'll get into this Trump Epstein thing. It's going to be a group project, too, because, like I said, like, I'm from Canada. I don't pay attention as much to the whole, like, the politics of it all. So some of these people, I'm like, I don't know who this fucking guy is, but we're going to start tracking down and finding out in between. Like, I don't know who this friggin' guy is, but apparently he was a large donor. He's also a felon, and that is who introduced him to this George Nader guy, which apparently is who arranged meetings for business deals with this prince. This convicted, this guy that is very obviously harming children, has been harming children for years, is the go-between, who this guy had introduced Trump. Like, so this is how I've started this connection here. This guy, I don't know if we're in the center, hold on. This Elliot Broidy guy, apparently he's a big donor. He introduced Trump to this guy, who then arranged the meeting with this guy. And that's a whole other thing. I'm not even sure what the whole meetings are for just yet. I'm still kind of digging on that. We're researching and finding out in real time. I know there's a lot of weird stuff, and I know there was, like, just by the pictures, if you look back to the amount of different events and different gatherings between Trump and Epstein, and then Trump and Diddy, it very much felt to me like he was the liaison, so to speak. So then when I noticed that these traffic jams profits were just only increasing and not decreasing after the Epstein and Diddy thing fell through, then I started thinking, well, maybe it's not even that he's getting rid of it. He's taking out the competition and or the middleman and taking over. He's got full control of the whole shebang now. He didn't need them anymore, and he's got the connections. He's got the network. Epstein and Ghislaine, not only were they a hub, they were connections. They were big connections. And there was some shady shit with this too. Like, I was looking at the Robert Maxwell. Like, I never really fully dug into the finer details, I guess. I guess I had looked at enough things that I was like, okay, yeah, obviously there's connections here, and I don't know how people don't see it. Like, he's 5 minutes up the road. We've got the Zorro Ranch thing going on, the islands, and people are like, oh, the list, da 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 da, and oh, the flight manifest, like, as if all these people don't have their own boats and private flight capabilities. They can't rent, like, you can rent a private flight. You don't even have to own your own private jet. You can arrange private flights where you're not flying out of the normal way that people do, and, you know, there's smaller aircrafts that are designed to land in places like Little St. James, right? And all the Virgin Islands. Like, are we starting to understand why we're calling them Virgin Islands? We look at, there's so many people in and around there that own little islands, and there's so much more going on. And when I started looking into the Diddy and the Naomi Campbell stuff, and how they're connected to different islands, and the children's charities, and the preparatory schools, like, there's all this other stuff that I guess, looking at it, the overall, it seemed enough to me that I had my opinion about it. But I didn't realize how much more shady it was, like, immediately. I knew this guy had also been Epstein. He was awaiting a trial, and there was stuff going on there. And it was a very similar situation, but it wasn't as reported in the media. This Jean-Luc Brunel. And he was, like, major modeling guy. The dad, Robert Maxwell, apparently his death was super suspicious. He had fallen to his death from the yacht, the Lady Ghislaine yacht, and I guess that was ruled as kind of suspicious. And then after he died, they discovered that he had embezzled a shit ton of money from his companies and their pension funds specifically, not just from the company, from the pensions of the people working their fucking ass off for these damn companies for years, decades. It's a whole situation, pardon my language, but it's just such grimy shit. Like, you don't have enough already, these grimy ass people. It's so gross. It just grosses me out. But anyways, so 400 million British pounds, so you gotta think that's, I should have maybe done the conversion there, but it's British pounds, which is worth more than a US dollar, which is worth a hell of a lot more than a Canadian dollar. That's all I know. Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money. Yeah, Steve Bannon's another connection. I have a few more names and things listed here to start adding. But like I said, I figure this is going to be a group project. I think this probably needs to move because I moved some stuff closer together to take the picture just so that we had the visual or the thumbnail there. But a lot of the stuff's going to have to move out of the way so that I can make space. But yeah, Steve Bannon. What else? What do I have here? I have a list, and then I was looking into just the different companies to start getting those mapped out. But let me go back here. Hold on. Apparently Michael Flynn was connecting to this George Nader guy. Steve Bannon held meetings with Nader regarding U.S. foreign influence. Bannon was running point on Middle East realignment. Jared Kushner met with Nader personally during foreign policy planning with UAE and Saudi, which this is all, like, I don't fucking know. The Middle East stuff, like, I don't know. I try to disconnect from as much politics as I can, because I do find a lot of it is just smoke and mirrors, and, you know, it's a distraction in a lot of ways. It's all theater, right? But, there's obviously a lot more going on here that people don't ever talk about it even. Like, this is the stuff that doesn't really even make it in the news, right? Or it did, but it was covered up pretty quick, right? So when you start mapping it out, you start to see things a little more clearly. Appreciate you, your map. Thank you, Mystery. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here and part of this. It's kind of it's all developing. It's rapidly developing sequences of events happening here, and I'm glad you guys are keeping on with this and going with the flow. Anyways, we're juggling so many different things right now, but I think that you guys get that a lot of it connects too, so it all kind of makes sense in the end. They're all interconnected, all the institutes, yeah. Well, and a lot of, like, and when you look at how these modeling agencies in the fashion industry already works, like, again, in the pageants, it already, like let's talk about the John Bonet if you want, right? Like, it already feels very much like a exploitative trafficking situation, especially when they start them so young and, like, they didn't really have a choice. Like, we talk about the child actors and how that all can impact a young person and for the rest of their life. talk about what pageants are for. Like, it's literally just putting the kid out there like a piece of meat. Here, let's put a kid out in the backyard with meat wrapped around their neck and hope the dogs and the wolves and the coyotes don't come eat them. Like, pretty much, right? So, and then yeah, like, okay, yeah, this Q guy in the chat here, the tunnels, yeah, like, and we know the tunnels exist. As much as they want to deny the tunnel systems, like, Prohibition happened. There were elaborate tunnel systems for smuggling alcohol and between bars and underground hotels, mansions, whatever. Like, there was a ton of Prohibition era homes built, and I mean, some stuff's rumors, but you can look up houses, Prohibition era houses, and how there's like hiding entryways behind bookshelves and in the floor and, you know, in the wall. Like, that stuff exists. And when you got a ton of money, if you happen to have bought a house that had those tunnels, what's stopping you from renovating them and expanding them if your friends, everyone on the same block, bought the fucking houses that had the busted ass tunnels? You know, they've had, what, how many years now since Prohibition? You know, and again, the trafficking industry is biggering, and just like all of the trafficking, drugs and everything too, right? Like, what else are they going to use those tunnels for now? What's illegal now that wasn't illegal then? You know, like, you could get the cocaine, no problem. Then you go down to the drug mart, you get your cocaine, but you couldn't get alcohol unless you got a prescription, right? So, like, obviously the era changed, and now what's illegal? What's illegal, right? So, who's to say there wasn't already like some tunnel system, you know, under the water? How do we know? We don't know, and that's obviously wild and speculative, and maybe I sound a little nuts, but from what I know, the level of research I've done into different things, anything's possible. Like, the truth is stranger than fiction, and we know that there were tunnels, like there were strange passageways and tunnels under that mansion, his mansion, the Brillo Way, and under Zorro Ranch with, like, weird labs. Like, there's a lot of different victims saying different things, and I guess, well, survivors. We should call them survivors, not victims. But there are a lot of child victims that didn't fucking make it, too, so we should also acknowledge that. But I think, like, we should probably map all that out, too, the victims and who's still with us and who's not, because there was an awful lot of them that are no longer with us, that weren't, like, beyond just Virginia. So I'm probably going to need to add that in too. But, yeah, well, and obviously there's complacency at all levels. There has to be. When it comes to a more elaborate network, there's a lot of hiding in plain sight, but if there's, like, you're transporting a large order, I guess you could say, like, it sounds so bad, but, like, this is really what it is, and this is how they look at it. Like, they don't, like, a lot of these people, they don't look at them as people. They're expendables, you know, and unless you fit into one of these categories for them of, like, in a celebrity status or fashion, modeling, whatever, you are the peons, really, right? Like, let's be so fucking for real. So if they're bringing a large shipment of people over from somewhere, and it's, like, less than ideal, you know, with the shipping crate things, that how, you know, we know all the different ways they do it, right? All of that needs to happen in such a way, and there has to be different people that are complicit or turning a blind eye or are participants in the situation to be able to get away with that, you know? Like, it's very complicated in this day and age, especially being in a mass surveillance state, and, like, literally everyone having cameras. Everybody's got a camera in their pocket, like, high definition. You can zoom right in. Like, how is this happening still right under our freaking noses? That, like, and it's just getting bigger and bigger all the time. Like, something's got to give here, you know. And the rock goes from the bottom to the top. So, you know, we talk about the Minnesota stuff. We were talking about some of the weird stuff that was happening, like those help signs. I don't know if you guys remember the help signs in LA, that construction site and stuff. Like, there's weird little things going on like that too that all plays into it. But then we go from the bottom to the top. These people are the people at the top and servicing the people at the top. You know, if you start looking into, like, if you just search Edge Billionaires Dinners, the Edge Billionaires Dinners, and they stopped posting about it in, like, 2015 or 2016, but I don't think they stopped having them. Maybe, I don't know, obviously I'm not a billionaire, but Jeffrey was, like, the special guest financier because he was the guy for the billionaires. He only serviced billionaires, so he was always, like, the special guest. And if you go all the way back, I think it goes back to, like, I don't know, like 20 I don't even know, 2000, I don't know, somewhere in the earlier 2000s, and then to about 2015, and you go back to every year and you see the kind of people that were all going to these events and intermingling. Like, there's your fucking list. Here's a list for you. You know, who keeps coming back, who showed up one time. You know, there's a list for you. Who's going to all these Mar-a-Lago events right now? And what do you think he was doing with the freaking, the ballroom? You think he's just building a ballroom and not some other underground passageways and facilities and other things, like, while they're at it? Because why not? Because why not? Nobody's stopping him from, like, demoing this friggin' building and just doing whatever the hell he wants. And he got 200 million some odd dollars, whatever he said, that was donated. It's not tax dollars, don't worry, guys. Donated by who? Who is so interested in your fucking ballroom and your shitty golden decos that you got at Home Depot that you said weren't bought from Home Depot, but people found them. They found the exact ones at Home Depot. It's literally Home Depot with, like, metallic gold spray paint. Like, look at me. Look at me in my magical palace of bullshit. What is the point? Is it impossible? Do I need to zoom in a little closer? It's hard to tell how close you guys can read it. And I guess for phones, if you're watching on a phone, it's probably harder. So I'll zoom in a little more. Ivana was a procurer along with Ghislaine. Yeah, I believe that. Except late for supper. And then, yeah, there's Katie Johnson. So maybe we'll slap that on there right now because that is like, yeah, that's an anchor point for us. I gotta figure out what color we're gonna use for, I guess orange. I guess we'll pretty much use mostly the same color system, as the Hollywood stuff, but slightly different because I'm gonna do, like, companies, properties, a little slightly different. But for victims, I think, yeah, I'll put it in orange because she's still with us, but then red if they're not with us. Okay, hold on, I gotta move this around here too. Got a lot of things going on at once. Diddy's plane has not landed in many months. Judy Crandall says it's not landed in many months. I mean, it's obviously gone into a bunker or gone underground or something somewhere. It can't just be in the air for months, obviously, right? Like, it probably got transported on a boat or something somewhere. It's probably floating off in the Pacific or something, like, for all we know. And then you got to realize too, like, all these people have yachts, and in international waters, there's no jurisdiction. Like, if you forget at the islands and the mansions and the clubs and this, talk about the yachts for a second, guys. Like, there's so much more going on there too that I don't think a lot of people realize. Like, it's a completely different world, you know? Like, and this is where they rely on that, and they use a lot of smoke and mirrors and, you know, Wonderful Wizard of Oz, Yellow Brick Road, song and dance. Like, he's having friggin' all these feasts, like this, like, elaborate feasts at Mar-a-Lago while like homelessness is on the super high rise. People are starving, kids are starving, like, there's all this craziness going on, and he's having elaborate feasts with, like, $500 plates or whatever the hell it was. It's crazy. Oh, it's other people are paying for it. Well, what are they paying for to be there to do then? Like, is it just fun? Like, what are you fundraising for? What are you actually doing? Like, is it for war, or, like, what are we doing? What are we actually doing for the world, for the good of the world, you know? Okay, so it's Trump and Epstein, right? And she was 13. I'm going to bring up some notes on her. I have notes on her. And I have all, like, the files and stuff for all this. Like, so I'd intended to look further into it, but it was like everybody's kind of finally catching up to it, and a lot of people keep covering it. Like, they're all over it. So it's like, you know, I got other stuff I've been covering and working on, so I'm kind of just doing my own thing. But I do have, like, the court documents and all this stuff for a lot of these, the main anchor points of the Trump-Stein situation. Okay, hold on. Let's get some data here, because I'm going to just start putting notes this way, too, because I don't know what happened with my notes. I put all these notes on the other map, on the Dark Hollywood map, and they all disappeared, so that was really annoying. So I'm just putting them, like, right onto the thing now, and I've sort of gotten a little more the hang of it, like, using these little nodes to make it a little more organized and tidy. So I might actually even redo that other map, too, the Dark Hollywood, and just organize it, or not, like, redo it, but just, yeah, reorganize, give it an overhaul. Okay. Let me catch up with you guys here more. I think it's getting ahead of me again. The CEO of Disney named his son after Maxwell. Which one? Because they're all on the map too. A lot of the people connected back to that sphere are on the Dark Hollywood map, obviously. Quoting Noam Chomsky and using his talking points, but we've seen pictures of him and Steve Bannon vibing on the plane. Oh yeah, and I gotta throw Steve Bannon. Thank you for reminding me. What is his deal? I gotta look him up too. Let me not get too carried and away on myself here. He goes over here though, and he was a what? Okay, hold on. I had a bunch. I was prepping for this, and I got a bunch of notes and things ready for this. But now I gotta go back. Held the meetings, Middle East, but what did he do? Oh, maybe I didn't find out what he did yet. Hold on. Did I not map that one out? I guess not. That's okay. We're gonna find out in a second here. Let me get. I'll do the Katie Johnson, and then we'll circle back to Steve. No, I guess not. That's okay. It's a lot. It's a lot all at once. Trying to do these maps. Christ's sakes, hold on. Too many things open here at once. Okay. Actually. Lawsuits in 2016 in California and New York. It's a hell of a town. Okay. I guess we could do the short form here. This way. We're going to adopt the TikTok language a little bit for just the sake of truncating. I gotta put that one down too, and I'm not spelling it right. Manhattan? Where the fuck am I from? Jeez. Get it together, Tez. I'll have to find out what the address is for that and get it on the docket here. I'm gonna make this a little smaller. We're gonna need more room. We're gonna get filled in pretty quick here, so we'll do it kind of bigger, smaller. All good. Luckily we can zoom. Whoops. Okay. And it's going to be a work in progress. I figure we'll do this for a couple hours, but I still have so many other friggin' projects that I gotta get done, but stuff just keeps happening. Hollywood keeps Hollywooding. I wish it Hollywouldn't for a day. If it could just Hollywouldn't keep doing this shit for 2 minutes. Fuck. Maybe we'll make this a little smaller. Because we're going to need more room over here, too. Okay, and then Steve Bannon. Who the fuck are you and why? Paradise Island, Mayor Lansky and John Walsh. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I guess it's kind of like the North Fox Island. I wonder if we should put that. I'm gonna put that like up here because that John Walsh, Adam Walsh, like that whole thing is connected to some other stuff. So that actually is probably important to have on here somewhere. But I'm gonna put it all the way up here for now, just to save for later, because I think we'll get there. But for right now, we're just gonna put a pin in it. Put some little connectors on here quick. I don't know about that one, but I'm trusting you on this one. I'll have to check. I'll have to look into it too and make more notes and sort that out as I go here. But I'm gonna just so that I don't forget about it. And who's the other guy you said? Meyer. What's he do? What's this Lansky guy do? Meyer Lansky. Yeah, for sure. Like, they can land on any island, and they all meet up in the middle, too, anyway. Like, have you ever been to one of those places, and then there's just, like, all the boats hanging out in the water? Like, they're hanging out together in their boats, kind of thing, you know? It's like a group chat. And they probably got the CB radios, and they probably chirp at each other, and it's probably a whole thing. Like, we don't even know. Bandon is a plant. Hey, Blueberry, welcome, welcome. Hollywood. Yeah, you guys like that, eh? Harold Rubin was George Soros' BFF, and Mark Edwards is the Jimmy Savile PR. Oh my goodness, hold on. Okay, slow down, guys. Alright. Let me catch up on this. Or let me just look this up. Okay, wait. We're going to come back to this. I'll just leave that like that for now. And let me go back to Steve Bannon here and fill him in. And that's a lot. That's a lot going on. But obviously, like, there are more little islands in between, and they all have, like, little speedboats to go in between, and little helicopters, and there's so many other ways. Like, it's not just one private jet and one island and one fucking guy. Like, if we're gonna be so for real. He's not a lawyer, is he? He was media executive, White House chief strategist. Chief. Awesome, cool. Former Goldman Sachs. He's a former Navy, Goldman Sachs banker, documentary producer. He's been all over the freaking map. He was arrested in 2020 for fraud, pardoned by Trump. Okay. Of course he was. Oh my lord. Can you work here fingers for 2 minutes? Pardoned by Trump. He was later indicted and okay. Chief executive of Trump's campaign. I guess we'll go up here. We'll go backwards. 2016. Chief executive campaign. Actually, let's make this. We'll do this. Campagna. We could try spelling it correctly too, maybe. Try there. He is tied to Robert Mercer. What is that, like a company? Cambridge Analytica, I'm guessing, is a company. I've heard it. I know it's something. That's an important thing. I don't know what it is. It's like it's got to be a company. I don't know what they do, though. It's analytics. Analytica. But I've definitely heard that come up in places, so we're going to punch that in. Cambridge Analytica, Breitbart, and other Trump world propaganda arms. Oh, it's like one of those, like a bot farm type company that's trying to sway the people. I don't know what that is either. What the fuck's a Breitbart? I don't know. Some of this shit, I'm like, I have no idea what it is, but I know how these networks work and what would need to be happening to allow it to work, you know? So we're going to find our way somewhere to the middle. So it's propaganda. Probably both propaganda. I don't know. Okay, let's get back to this freaking guy for a second. Can you guys see this? Is this good? I'm trying to go a little closer in so you guys can see a little better. But you guys got to tell me. I don't know. What I see on my end and what you guys see on your end is different. You tossing it, tell me you were live. Yeah. Welcome, Bigger Pick Chick. Yeah, I put, that's, yeah. If you want, you can, if you join the Eyes Wide Open group, I post in there, and that's kind of why I started it, because a lot of times the notifications don't hit, right? They don't always fire off. But I always post when I'm going live or doing a premiere or whatever. There's big things. I also post a lot of news and information and resources in there. And like Twitter is good too. Sometimes I'll post on there about going live. More so I just post random stuff and share, like repost stuff. But the Telegram group, the Eyes Wide Open group in the description, it's free. It's just extra. And beyond my body of work as well, I share a lot of different news stuff and just starting to that's sort of under development as well, under construction, adding new sections and different things all the time. But that's the best way to catch the streams and stuff on time. And the spontaneous ones too, because sometimes when you do them last minute, there's not going to be like this one I set up in advance, so there should have been one, but if we do them last minute, they don't always fire off, and you kind of just, when you get on to the app, you notice that I'm on or whatever, like however you just notice now. Harold Root. Okay, we're gonna have to put a pin in that too. Let's work from where we got right here, and we'll spread out from there. Meg Walsh, yeah, I've watched and followed her stuff. I'm pretty sure I follow her on Twitter too, if she still has a Twitter. I feel like I haven't seen any tweets from her for a while though. Actually, now that I think about it, so I hope she's okay. Peter Thiel, yeah, he's gonna probably have to go on here somewhere. That's probably somewhere in here, because it's like the tech arm of things. We'll probably have like tech, I don't know, some of the different factions, like the farmer in the Dell, like the royalty and stuff like that. I don't know. Purple, I figured, is like the royal color, so we'll figure out what all the other ones are going to be, because obviously there's going to be overlapping with military agencies, different agencies, beyond just like the modeling agencies and these little companies and all these little guys in between. Big guys, little guys. Okay. And Bill Gates, he's got to go on here somewhere, because this guy, they all used to hang out all the time. These guys, Alan's like, I feel like he was like just trying to fit in all the time. Like, he literally, in the late 70s, he was defending your right to view genuine forced trespasses in adult films. It was your right. And he was defending it. And that's the kind of guy he was already back then, and he just wanted to fit in with the cool Hollywood people and, you know, whatever was going on, because it was a big Hollywood. It's when they were doing, like, the 70s, when they had, like, adult films playing in theaters. And there was one of the films that was really big news, but then the actress came out and said that she had done it under duress. A lot of the scenes were under duress and with under threat of a firearm. I don't know. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say that, but we're saying it because that's what it was. TriStar, Lou Taylor. Yeah, well, that would be on the other side probably. Like, and at some point, probably these two maps are going to overlap, but like, it's already so much to keep track of. Here, actually, let me bring it over. I still have these all open too. I started tidying up the one and like getting the Brittany Murphy a little more tidy too, but one second, where is it? Will it just fit over here? Yes, it will. Yay. Yeah, so the TriStar Pictures and the TriStar Company, I have to figure out where it fits because it kind of connects. This is where it's getting complicated because some stuff connects to companies up here, but then also connects to a company down here, and I'm like, fuck. I've kind of screwed myself there. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to do like the reach around here, as you can see. And I started it like using those little nodes, like these little nodes to make it a little more organized to connect multiple things to. So like I said, I'm going to clean it up and give myself more room for where I've boxed myself in and where I need to be able to come through and connect from one side to the other. But it's starting, like, there's a lot more progress. We're not going to go into too much on this one right now, but I have added a ton more stuff. And I fit in, like, the Sean Penn and the Brat Pack and all that. You guys were like, oh, don't forget Madonna. I started filling all that in. Some more of the older companies, like the more OG old Hollywood and how it shifted into new Hollywood and who absorbed that. So yeah, and started filling in a little more up here. So if you guys want to tune into that on the next one, we'll be going more on that separate for now. But I'm sure it all overlaps at the end of the day because obviously the modeling and the fashion industry very much overlaps with Hollywood. They all go hand in hand, right? Makeup, fashion, like they're all part of the machine. And people like it cross pollinates, I guess you could say. Yeah, the Louis B. Mayer companies, the MGM original, there was 5 different companies that then became MGM. Like how Disney and Amazon and all these companies are absorbing each other right now. Netflix, like they're all doing all these big acquisitions, and like Paramount and Warner Brothers, all these big companies are absorbing each other right now. That used to happen before too, but it was like there wasn't so much going on. So it's a little easier to track. Like the United Artists was some of the big OG Hollywood people. And they had started that, and then that company had formed into, what did it end up being? Hold on, I forget now off the top of my head. It was getting late, I was tired, and I just couldn't stay away, so I kept adding stuff, and then I'm like, I need to just not do this. Orion, the newer age, the new Hollywood, it was the Orion company, and then that connects all the way over to the MGM, which Amazon now owns. So I started doing a little more of like through the years and then how this all connects outwards, because it is one great big sphere, right? It's a whole friggin' thing. And then I was able to, I guess these comments stuck now, so that's weird. I don't know. I might still switch them and do them how I'm doing them on the Trumpstein one. I don't know yet. Whatever. We're figuring it out as we go. You guys we're all just as much experts, I guess, like, you know, we're all the same level of expertise here, and we're all just figuring it out as we're going along. Yeah, like, well, and it was built on the backs of children. Like, when you really start looking, and we're going to have to do another deep dive on that. I found some of my archives from, like, all these old newspaper articles and all this stuff for the Shirley Temple, Judy Garland, like, doing the old Hollywood deep dives. Like, because I have some old physical media. I came across the Shirley Temple biography, the physical book, because it's really hard to find online, and even the ones you can find are missing pages. And you can't just, like, I don't know, maybe you can order it now. I don't know, maybe it's been since the last time I looked. There's more books coming online now, so I don't know, I'd have to look, but I found the physical copy. And so I've been starting to dig out. I've got a lot of the physical stuff for, like, the Marilyn Monroe, the Jacksons, like, all of the Jacksons, because it's more than just the Michael Jackson and that whole family situation, that dad, it's a whole situation. So yeah. As it all comes together, we'll go into that because like literally it was literally built on the backs of children, and not just the Shirley Temples and the Judy Garlands. Like there was a lot of stuff going on. If you went down to the Nickelodeon with 5 cents on pretty much any given night in any major metropolitan area, you could see a children's cabaret called the Baby Burlesques, and they had the Shirley Temple series of videos. So when people search it, they think, oh, it's just like these few videos they did, and oh, that's weird. That poor young girl. What an awful time. I'm glad we don't do that now. Cool, yeah, well, guess what? It wasn't just a one-time thing for those movies. They were doing it across the fucking nation, everywhere. Everywhere you went, they had the Baby Burlesque. There was just different versions. It was like the Jazz Baby Burlesques or the Safari Baby Burlesques or whatever, like different themes and shit. But anywhere after hours, like after 10 p.m., you pay 5 cents at the Nickelodeon. The theater was called a Nickelodeon, so you can figure out why all day long on that one. And you could see baby burlesque shows. It was all the rage. It was a big deal. It was a big crowd pleaser. It was like prime time for adults drinking and partying and doing their thing. Now let's bring the little kids on stage and get them to do cabaret and stuff. Cool. So that's what they were doing back in the day, like in the Chaplin era, which that whole story with the whole situation, like that's a whole fucking situation on its own. And we're going to go there. Eventually we're going to get there. And like I go into a lot of the history of the stuff in the Hollywood's Hidden Curriculum, the book I'm working on, and how that overlaps with the history of the military and all of the things, and how it all came together in entertainment and in different industries. So I mean, we're gonna get to all of it eventually. It just, we really haven't been able to talk so openly about so many things until just like this past year or so. So now it's time. Now there's a crack in the foundation of the evil powers that be. So we gotta just keep chipping away and hope for the best here. Okay, so Steve Bannon, what else did you do? What is the matter with you? And yeah, you guys can see good now. This is better. The zooming's working. It's not so bad. Yeah, she like fell down the stairs or something weird. Ivanka or whatever, the ex-wife. But there's like rumors, obviously, that she was helped down the stairs. Yeah, toddlers and tiaras, that whole thing. Like, and even like kids on the internet in general now. Like, it's all bad. It's all bad, and something's got to give. Yeah, there were several predators at the time. Yeah, I started there. Those are on the Brittany Murphy map that I gotta organize. There's like a bunch of them, and in the animation departments and stuff too. Like they don't even think about like what's his name, John Cruz. I can't think of how to say his last name, but the creator of Ren and Stimpy. It's Crucible Flows for the. I don't know. It's a fucking weird last name. I can't pronounce it. Doesn't matter. But the guy that did Ren and Stimpy, he had interns that would come to learn animation and learn about the cartoon business. That shit was going on there too. So not even just the kids on the screen, like how many kids were coming in for auditions or coming in to intern or coming in for tours or whatever, like, and they were surrounded all the time. In every sphere there was at least one. Like the likelihood of like out of 10 people is like at least 1 or 2 of them, Yeah, well, we'll get there. I'm going from, like, the 90s onward. Like, we're starting, like, now we're getting there, you know what I mean? The United Artists, we're getting to filling in the old. I started filling in the Marvel and the DC and how incestuous that is. Like, the guy, he just kind of bounced back and forth between the DC and the Marvel, which I thought they're supposed to be rivals, so there's that. And he's a weirdo. But, yeah, now we're going backwards. Now we're going into the old, like... We're starting with, like, what I know growing up, what I know personally, what my personal research has been based on what I knew and what I watched growing up and whatever, like, my own personal fucking investigation. That's this. But beyond that is, yeah, these older companies, and it goes back, like, let's go back through it's, 90s, 80s, 70s, somewhere in here. 60s, and then we're getting into the 40s. So this will obviously spread out. This might come back in a little bit, but when you look at the spheres of what I'm doing, yeah, obviously we're going to get to all of that eventually. Yeah, like that's the center of the child industry. That is the center of the big, like that's the butthole of the great big elephant in the room. So I'm pretty sure I plan to go pretty hard on the actual, like, yeah. I You go ahead, start your own. You go put Waltz on a map and you go start your own then. How about that? Still worried about how I'm doing it. With the railroad, were videos of people going, yeah, like there's people that have been talking about that for years and how that overlaps the military stuff and the different ways of training and grooming and programming and all of that. Like there were schools for that. If you look up like Meglin Kitties and the Wampus Baby Stars, like you start looking at the history, there's a whole red brick road that you could follow right up till today, you know. Yeah, Brittany Murphy is still like but she was pretty much smack dab in the middle of a lot of dark too, man. And like, there's so much more going on there, and I'm finally gonna be wrapping up that episode 7 very soon. Um, it's just like there's so much going on with that at once, and I want to make sure it's presented with doing her justice, you know, with as much of a conclusion as there can be without still there being any real answers, but. You know, I want to make sure you guys have all the information possible so you can draw your own conclusion and, you know, decide for yourselves what to think. Yeah, but like Walt Disney, like obviously Walt Disney, and we're not worried about the Hollywood one right now. We're working on the Trumpstein one right now. So if you guys want to tune in and be when I'm working on the Hollywood one, we'll do that. And like I said, they probably will overlap at some point. But let's stay focused, guys. It's already a lot, and we've got the Hollywood ones well underway. So, and then this is going to be happening kind of simultaneously. Obviously, as more stuff's coming out. The Clintons didn't show up for their Congress meeting, so apparently there's, I don't know, and I would have to double check, but I guess there's going to be an arrest for that because they're in contempt of congressional court for not showing up. So that's unfolding, and obviously the Clintons link back to the Rob Reiner situation. They all were backing Al Gore back in the year 2000, like how I was connecting Victoria Jones, the Tommy Lee Jones, all of that. So we'll get back to her. We'll get back to the Hollywood, I promise. But this is another arm of it. Like this is another arm. Like if we're looking at the Cerberus, this is like, okay, we're gonna go with some more Harry Potter analogies today. The Cerberus, there's the 3 heads. One's Hollywood, one's this, and then I don't know what the third one is just yet. Probably either, like, if it's going to be the 3, I don't know. I guess just all the people that fucking support it, I don't know. But then you get into, like, it needs to have more than 3 heads. There's too many heads of everything, because there's the farmers, there's the tech companies, there's so many other things going on. But, like, we have oodles of space. We can go on forever, and then I can even take the other map and bring it over. We can attach them all eventually if we want to. But one thing at a time, guys. Yeah, no, we're not focusing on the Hollywood one. That obviously, when Woody Allen's obvious, Polanski's obvious, like those are the obvious ones. There's certain ones that. Like, everybody knows that, right? So, obviously, yeah, it'll end up on the page, too, but the whole idea is revealing the lesser-known people that kept showing up in a big way, with there being a trail of people that struggled with substance abuse or had accidentally or on purpose left this world far too young. So, yeah, we're tracking a whole nother thing there. Like, that's what they want you to focus on and not look past that. They don't want you to realize that it's worse than that and that there's more things going on all the time, every day, right now, there's a kid being harmed and trespassed upon. I can guarantee it. Like, somewhere in the world. Alright. So, Steve Bannon, this friggin' guy. And how are we connecting? Campaign CEO. Alright, I think that's pretty much, he wasn't much else. I think that was it for him. But, we'll move this guy. We can actually probably start making these guys a little smaller, too. But yeah, for the sake of the beginning of it, so everybody gets on the same page here. I'll make these a little littler. For free's sake, come on. There we go. Move her over a little bit. Maybe I'll have a node for campaign. For 2006 campaign and 2016 campaign, and then the 2020 campaign. Maybe that's how we'll organize that, and we'll move this much more out of the way because that's getting more to the tippy top. And we're gonna need this somewhere over here. So let me moving some things. This guy connected to this guy. We should make this a different color though, probably, so we're not gonna get too confused. I'm gonna make like a legend thing too, so that it'll show in the corner. And eventually, once these are more complete and I've got all my notes and we're all caught up for everything I know, once it's all out on the board, and then we're going from there. I think I'll probably provide the link so you guys can view it at your leisure and zoom in and read the, hover and read the comments and check it out however you want outside of the streams. But for now, we're just putting her together, and I'll figure out exactly. The color coding might slightly change over time. I don't know. I don't know what color team he is. Is he the red team or the blue team? It doesn't really matter, I guess. I was gonna maybe make it, but then that's gonna conflict with the other color coding. So I guess I'll just make it yellow. Who cares? But then that's like whistleblower. Shoot. Okay, no, we're gonna make it white, but with, I don't know what team he is. Is it the blue team? He's the blue team, I think. I don't think it freaking matters. But you guys are really about the two sides. But it all connects to, like, Clinton and the Trump, Hillary. They were all tight back in the day. They would all go to the same dinners and hanging out and shaking hands and doing the circle jerk. It's pretty epic. You love it? Yeah, right on. Thanks, Blueberry. Orange. Well, no, okay, but then orange is victim. Red's, like, victim that's no longer with us. And then yellow is, like, whistleblower is what I was doing for the other maps. So I think, actually, I'm going to keep that. So what is it? Is it red or blue? I know he's orange. They also joked about, oh, yeah, was there a roast of him, too? Oh, I got to find that. He's team orange, yeah. I guess we could put orange as the outer ring, because he's a Cheeto man. Or whatever, as everybody says. Oh, that's fancy. What the heck did I just do? That's cool. Fancy. I'm, like, finding all these new features as I go. How this all works. Okay, and then he was connected to this freaking guy. Excuse me, give me... Okay, one sec. I think my new guest is trying to go in the other room. I gotta open the door for her. Oh, does this turn? Oh, that's handy. Okay, cool. Alright. Little Doogus. Good to Googus. Okay. Or no, I guess I don't know if he was directly connected to the campaign, but he was connected to this guy. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do one of these. I don't like that it doesn't let me make it any shorter. Guess if we do it like this. Yeah, whatever. Good enough. We'll fine tune it as we go. I'm trying to, oh, it's all good. Yeah, no, well, I'm just like, some of them are like obvious, you know, like the obvious ones. Like we'll get there, you know, the Woodies and the Waltz and the Polanski and yeah, everything else in between. But there's the ones that people don't like, the Voldemorts of it all. There's a lot of Voldemorts that it's like people aren't even allowed to talk about it, let alone like, or just they're afraid, like, because it's just you don't talk about them. I don't know, because they're the wonderful Wizards of Oz. We're trying to pull back the curtain on the Wizards of Oz that you don't know, because some of them are just the front end face too. Like Walt was a front end face, but he was just one guy. He wasn't like, you know, there was a lot of stuff happening with or without his knowledge also. And then once he was getting into his old age, like you got to think of how easily old people are taken advantage of. Especially, like, look at what they're doing to Stan Lee. I don't know if he's even alive anymore, but what they were doing with him at the end, all the people around him, all the vipers and the weasels and the parasites all start coming in, getting ready to scavenge and vulture the remains before they're even in the ground, you know? So what was happening and how it was changing, and it almost went bankrupt. Like, what were they spending all the money on? And what were they doing through the 50s, you know, 60s, whatever? Like, they had the Renaissance, the Disney Renaissance happened. And that's because they were going bankrupt. Everything was going to shit, right? So what the fuck was going on? And then how did they bounce back so quickly and easily? Like, you know what I mean? There's so much more going on there, and we'll get there. We'll get there. But for right now, this is where people are like, oh shit, maybe Trump wasn't a great guy. Maybe we should be looking at what everybody's been saying since like 1996. Like, it's not even like this is new. Like, a lot of this stuff is like way back. People were reporting them to the FBI and reporting, like, all these parties were happening, all this stuff was happening, and everybody was just hush hush about it. Like the shush symbolism and the turning a blind eye, covering the one eye, it's turn a blind eye, you know. The whole mantra of the 90s was hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. What do you think that was? It was like a programming. It was like on every t-shirt, it was on posters, it was a whole fucking thing. I don't know if it was the same in the US or if that was like an experiment just in Canada or what. But that was like a whole thing. That was like one of those sayings. It was like, don't have a cow, man. You know? And it's like reference. Like, there's emojis of the monkeys. Like, they're laughing at us. They're mocking us and laughing at us. That's monkeys doing the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. I don't know if it's on YouTube, actually. Let me see. Yeah, it is. You can type see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. What do you think that is? Why is that? What's that about? Should we talk about it? Maybe we could talk about that, you know? And what that's implying and suggesting this whole time. Like, it's so significant they need their own emojis, right? Why? Why? Are they laughing at us? Like, are we a fucking joke? Are we the biggest fucking joke as we're tax and debt slaves to these fucking... So these fuckers can be on a yacht somewhere or on an island eating caviar out of 10-year-olds? Like... I don't even need to elaborate on that. Like, fucking... Just, like... I'm just glad we're all getting here now, though. You know, that people are starting to look more and considerate and willing to turn to pull back the curtain for themselves, and I'm seeing a lot more investigating instead of just regurgitating. Like, I think that MSM is dying. Like, when you look at the ratios of independent media now versus, you know, they can just keep on laughing as it all falls down, you know. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Like, Rome collapsed. Rome was one of the mightiest empires of all time, you know, and it collapsed too. So it's the end of the world as they know it, but we're gonna be fine, guys. It's all gonna be fine. There might be war first. I don't know. Like, things might have to get a little worse before they get better. I don't know. It's like we're already on the verge of World War III right now, or whatever the hell is going on, bombing Venezuela and whatever countries still don't have a U.S. central banking system. Anyways, okay, so we got 2016. Let's put 2020 up here. Let's start getting a little more organized here. Focus, guys. We got a task at hand. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizards of Oz. Because. because of the wonderful things they does. Okay. So then we have these, and these connect with this guy. We should start making these connections too. And we'll be filling her in as we go. Maybe make this a little bit smaller. A little more over here. A little more. Gives a little more room. Okay. Who's next? Where are we at next here, guys? Group project. Everybody focus. Okay, let me just catch up. Hold on. I had notes. Let me look at my notes. One more second here. Sort out where we're going, what we're doing. Because I had a few people already lined up that all connected and it was making sense. And actually we'll make this a little smaller too. Okay. Come on, make him smaller too. These guys too. Just a little bit smaller. Okay. Nader met with the Middle East, knew his background, still engaged with them. Which, I mean, yeah, he connects to the Nader guy. Okay, that's right. Let's go back to Bannon. Hold on. We're getting out of the way here. This is where it connects back to this. So maybe we need this. We need this a little closer. He did a lot of the coordinating between them. Oh, and you know what I figured out? You could do these cool little dots. So we're going to do, like, as in, this is like the communication. He's the go-between. He's the go-between, okay? And, like, this is, like, potentially, you know? And then actually, since we can get really specific and make it real, oops, real clear what we're trying to convey here. We'll do these ones too. But in red. So even at, like, first glance, it's very, comprehensive, you know? Okay, actually, here we go. We're gonna make a little node, too, for Epstein. Yeah, we'll just make a little one. It doesn't even have to say anything. Forget about it. The Brass Monkey, Oddfellows Brass Monkey. Collectible playing cards. Interesting. Well, there's definitely so many different little secret societies and, like, secret handshakes and secret little trinkets and special things. Some places they got the paddle on the wall because they really like to spank each other when they get drunk, you know, for whatever reason. As a form of initiation, like, I don't know. I don't think they're not allowed to do hazing anymore, but I'm pretty sure they still do, like, initiation shit. It's probably not quite as weird as it used to be, but the whole paddling thing, that was already kind of weird. Like, yeah, you want to be part of our club, you gotta let us spank you in front of everybody with this wooden paddle. Like, that's not fucking weird at all. That's not, like, let's explore fetishism with our bros because we're too shy to do it with our wives. Or whatever. Or I guess they're, like, kids then in the college or whatever. With their girlfriends. We'd rather do it with our buddies than our girlfriends. or whatever, you know? Okay, how are we gonna organize this now? Make that a little smaller. Everything's gonna have to get a little smaller here. And I guess, like, the cross out, that's kind of pretty obvious. Like, that they're a company, they're an entity or whatever, or they're whatever, they're a guy. But the red crossed out, they're no longer with us, but they're also suspect of, like, they were in prison and awaiting the trial or whatever, and he supposedly ended his own life also. Released the Einstein list. Einstein was an interesting fellow. He was a patent office worker. And, you know, so there's some theories on what was actually going on there, too, of whether or not he actually had, why is this fan gotta be so loud? My friggin' laptop's starting to get warm, but this fan is, that's the next thing on the list. Stupid friggin' thing. I might have to, hold on. Oh, there we go. Perfect, okay, just like that. Awesome. Yeah, like, and they normalized it in movies and stuff. It was like, it was a whole era. It was, it was like, that's totally normal. Go to college, get excited to go to college and drink with your buddies and spank each other. Get ready, kids. It's a coming of age, rite of passage. Or whatever, you know? It's ridiculous. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing here. Sorry. I've got the screen's a little bigger than what you guys can see. I have to remember. Keep in mind. Okay. And these can go up here. We're going to get there too. But these, I'm going to put a connection between these because, like, they're literally neighbors. They were literally neighbors. Actually, and this might come down here, but these properties, they're like, you could throw a golf ball into his backyard from Mar-a-Lago. Maybe not. You could shoot a golf ball to his backyard from Mar-a-Lago, I should say. Okay. And then this guy and these guys. Okay. Okay, look at that. We're getting ourselves caught up here. And then what is like M2 modeling or something like that? I'm gonna start figuring out all these other little companies in between too to get them on. There's the Elite Modeling Management. Then there's M2. There's a couple of them. Okay, hold on. Yeah, the skull, yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of different ones. Like, all of the different, it's like they had, like, rival societies between dorms and stuff, too. Like, there's, we were looking at the Dunster house the other day where Tommy Lee Jones had dormed with Al Gore, and that's how far back they go. And then Rob Reiner is really close and was supporting Al Gore through his campaign and the whole thing, so there was that connection there. But the Dunster house, it was like its own thing, and they had their own little clique in that house, you know, so like separate from whatever other dorms on the Harvard campus or whatever, or like you'd had different sororities and fraternities living off campus in houses and stuff too. So they had their own little, like, there's so many different little subgroups too that, yeah, sometimes they all connect up to one main group somewhere. But you got to think of how many just little cliques and little groups there are amongst people that are, you know, one hand washing the other, like working together in business, in life, in whatever. that are partying together, whatever, right? Hey, Necessary Evil, our resident comedian, can't articulate for shit tonight. That's okay. Usually you got all the right things to say. You got a good batting average, so I think, yeah, we'll let you off one time here. Dr. Rich Oddfellow, prominent icon with the lore of Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights. Okay, I'll have to put a pin in that one. I'll write it down. Here, I got a sticky note. I'll get a physical sticky note. Because I'm not going to keep swapping back and forth between maps. We're going to stay focused here, guys. That's the last one. But that, okay, I see a bunch of you guys keep mentioning the Oddfellow. Let me write that down. And the alphabet companies, we're going to have to put that somewhere too. But did you notice that, I don't know if I should talk about that, but the alphabet, no, never mind. No, we're not going to go there. But, sometimes there's ways to make sure that when you search something, a different thing comes up, you know? And they do that. So it's like for example, the Baby Burlesque movies. And when you go back to the Bob Hope thing, and he's very tied with military and the whole thing. We were kind of going down that rabbit hole the other night there on the last Follow the Red Brick Road stream. He ties back to this company called Educational Something Videos. And that's the company that had produced the Baby Burlesque videos with Shirley Temple. But it's like just an educational movie productions or something like that. And so if you try to search it, though, it just brings up like 1,000 different things. So it's like they were thinking in advance of like if you were going to search paper copies or whatever their filing system was then, how many other things would come up when you're searching for it. And obviously when you had papers, it was harder to find things. But even now on the internet, it's almost like they knew in advance that having these like very vague and whatever names, we're going to make it so much harder to find anything specific on that specific company. Like Access Graphics, you know, John Ramsey. So I think, yeah, we gotta be on that shit. We gotta start pointing that shit out too. But so as far as when you search for the alphabet companies, the alphabet agencies, where that goes. Okay, hold on. Let me write this down. The Oddfellow, now it's getting away from me. Hold on here. I'm gonna scroll back. Dr. Rich Oddfellow, and Universal goes pretty way back, and that was like it had joined a few companies together, but that one goes pretty far back. Okay, Universal. All right, let's no more on that side of it. Only things now that are connecting to the nodes we have currently on the board or expanding on what's on the board. Let's not go back. We're not going to go back and forth from Hollywood and back and forth. That we're save that for we're going to do the Hollywood Dark Hollywood My Maps separately. And like I said, it might still all connect in the end, and we can put them all together in the end, but this is a arduous task that's going to be a lot to get through as it is. That should go on this. That fits in with fashion. That's a good one. There you go. Balenciaga, exactly. Kanye, Kim Kardashian. Now we're getting back into the Hollywood sphere again. That's where it will connect over. Like, there are connections there. I do realize. And I know it's going to, I get it. And maybe some of those people will have to be on here sooner than later. But for right now, let's just not get too ahead of ourselves. Oh, actually, no, we want this one. Because there's something weird going on there. They are normalizing some weird shit. And Buddy has been trying to talk about that for a while. So that definitely belongs there somewhere. Maybe we'll put it, we'll put it up to the side. Same idea. Save it for later. Okay. Let me get back to my notes here, guys. And then what do you guys got next? What connects with what's currently on the board? Oh, and then the chat's getting away from me on it again. Yeah, the Diana Ross and MJ thing, that'll make its way on there. I did start that section of things too. Yeah, if you want to leave in the comments, that's a good idea. If you want to leave in the comments, if you're thinking of ones that are more the Hollywood side while we're doing this one, just drop it in like the actual comments. So when I go through later, I'll see it. Is he connected to Paris Hilton? I don't think so. I don't think so. She connects in a big way to the troubled teen industry, though. That Nick Reiner went through the same ringer that she did, and she's been trying to speak out about that for years, and she's done a lot to actually reform that. So I think as much as she was kind of a messy, party girl, whatever, back in the day, and like she's like Nepo baby or whatever. Everybody's gonna have their opinions. I want to believe that, and she's actually doing it at least. Like, I know that maybe she's not innocent completely and she maybe wasn't the best person back in the day, but she is reforming that industry, and she has been doing a lot of work, doing press conferences and doing what all the legwork that takes to get bills and different bills and reforms pushed through Congress and whatever the hell, senators, I don't know, whatever you guys, however it works over there. But I do know she's been very vocal about that and supporting the survivors, the breaking the code silence. And there was that documentary, what was it called? It was like The Program or something on Netflix that goes into all that more. Like, there was some serious shit going on there. You got a soft spot for Paris Hilton? Yeah, I do too, a little bit, Like, because I feel like, as messy as everything was, and like she kind of created the monster that is Kim Kardashian. Like, if you didn't know, Kim Kardashian used to organize Paris Hilton's closet. And everything she knows is like the knockoff brand version of what Paris was doing. And then she kind of like did her own way of doing it. But Paris kind of created that monster in a way. So I will acknowledge that, obviously. But oh yeah, I touched on that because I did Shia LaBeouf ages ago. I did a video on him. And so I did cover that, but that, like, I don't know, there's certain stuff, like, you need to be able to make more connections. Like, it's easy to make a claim and be like, oh, this person said this, right? But we have to be able to connect it to something. Like, there has to be a meaningful, substantial connections that we can map out. And I get that part of that story is that, well, the documents and it was fudged, and, that is very possible. Like, illegitimate children exist, and sometimes people that are famous or people that are whatever, or they're trying to do a weird shady thing, or when you do start thinking about the weird covert ops that happen with the military, that we can't know the truth because it's a risk to national security or whatever. And so they've been getting away with a ton of shit under the threat, under the guise of, or under the umbrella of, or whatever, the shield of. Well, I guess just the fact that they were like their competitors, though, the Hilton and Trump Towers and all that, the Trump hotels and stuff. But she's not, like, she's not an heiress. She's not owed anything. Like, she's not part of the Hilton fortune as far as I know. Like, she's made her own money and she does her own thing. And obviously she has the name, but I think beyond that, she was not included in all that. She was the scapegoat, from my understanding. And she was being thrown in all these facilities. She was such a troubled teen, Yeah, I hear you. I've seen that South Park episode. I know. But that was then, and who she is being now, she is being a very sophisticated, well-spoken, way more intelligent than she ever let on young woman, and trying to reform industries that were profiting on harming and trespassing against kids. Like, a lot of those facilities, they were using excessive force. There was the harms and the trespasses in other ways. Some of them being like starved or sleep deprived, sensory deprivation, like all this stuff that's literally a programming. Like, literally, you guys want to talk about, okay, how many of these little facilities are still operating under the same umbrella company that was literally like really badly abusing these people that you look at them, they're like, oh, they're celebrities, they have a lot of money, oh, they have such a nice life. But like, there's a lot of trauma there that we could never understand too, right? From their perspective. And so maybe they're not the best at taking care of themselves or the animals or the whatever, and shit happens and it's not great. I'm not condoning that. But I think if you're raised with a silver spoon and not taught any life skills, and then if you're cut from the trust or whatever, you're not given any money, you're kind of put out in the world, and you're this young, whatever, 20s, and, paparazzi following you everywhere, and then you're hanging out with Lindsay Lohan and Britney Spears, and there's all that craziness going on with Diddy. Like, she was getting sucked into the Diddy parties. There was so much going on. Well, there you go, right? Like, there is connections. Yeah, like, there are connections between Trump and Diddy and all of that, too. And we'll get to that, and that's where it will start to branch over to the dark Hollywood map. And we'll get there when we get there, for sure. But there's all these little people in the between us that nobody talks about, or that people don't realize have a history. And he's like, oh, well, he distanced himself from Trump, so why was he cool with this guy that was harming and trespassing little boys? It wasn't okay that Trump was taking them from Mar-a-Lago, the teenage girls, but this is okay. He's cool with this. This is fine. This is all right. And we're going to believe that he wasn't still hanging out with Trump. The guy that he said was a terrific guy. I've known him for 15 years, blah, 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 blah. And then there's all those videos of them partying together with girls, young girls. Maybe not all of them, like, some of them are at least of age, but, like, teenage girls. You gotta remember, 18 is still a teenager, 19 is still a teenager, you know? And while he was doing the pageants, and then he was saying, like, he would go into the dressing room, and all these girls, a lot of these pageant girls, and they couldn't say anything because he owned the pageants. Like, he owned and controlled, by himself, sole ownership and control of the top 3 pageant companies. Owned them and controlled them from 2013 or 2003 to 2015. So through that whole time, and he would go into the dressing rooms and be like, oh yeah, I could just go in there, like, you know, we're just checking on the merchandise and stuff like that. He would say stuff like that, like, why are you calling it merchandise unless, oh yeah, the Big Edie, Little Edie, the Grey Gardens, oh, Drew Barrymore, they did a really great friggin' the re-dramatization of that, of the original documentary movie, and then how Drew Barrymore redid that. I saw that. I looked into that while I was doing the Drew Barrymore research deep dive thing. So I'm very aware of that, and that's a messy story. That's a fucked up story, and then how they kind of just like, but the mom was kind of, Big Edie, I think, was kind of messed up, like, and she was not the greatest. She was like, I don't know. That's a whole story for another friggin' day. And yeah, they were all very happy to involve themselves with this Nader guy, knowing that he, you know, as long as he was helping with the campaign and helping with the whatever, it didn't matter what he did, obviously. So you think he really gave a shit what Epstein was doing, since they were doing it together at points in time? Okay, then there's this Jared Kushner guy. He's gonna have to fit in here somewhere. Oops. It sure is. I have to circle back. There's still a part 3 for that, but just that first 2 parts, 2.5 hour documentaries on her shit, like I had to get older, I think, to really understand the everything that happens between your, you know, early 30s and going into your 40s or whatever. Like, I was still barely 30 when I started doing the Drew Barrymore thing. So I got up to a point, and then it was like, I need more life experience, I think, to really knock this one out of the park, you know, and to do it justice. So that one is a circle back. That there's still like another 2.5, almost 3 hours of ways to go. Like, I basically got a rough idea, but I think just how I feel about it and how I want to present it, and how I think with some time and space between it, it's just gonna be better. It'll be better in the long run than trying to rush it, you know. And then there's other stuff in between that needs to happen. Like, the Brittany Murphy series kind of needed to be done before I could go back to the whole thing, because of how their stuff was overlapping. And, like, 2009, I believe, is, like, literally when Drew Barrymore was doing or it might have been just before that. I don't know, maybe it was earlier. But it was right before they worked together that she had done the Donnie Darko, and then they became really close friends, and then, like, things happened, and they kind of lost touch, whatever. But I kind of feel like some other external forces were kind of preventing Brittany from hanging out and getting closer to Drew, because Drew at that point was already very independent. She had broken off and done her own company, the Flower Films, and was started to do her own productions and stuff. And I think she would have been a really good influence on Brittany's life, on Brittany Murphy's life, and helped her along the path of, like, you know, because they were very similar in a lot of ways, but the difference was that Brittany Murphy was so sheltered, and her mother was like, there was very toxic enmeshment, and she was very not prepared for adulthood at all. Where that Drew was like an adult at 8 years old, right? Like she was already doing the whole rehab thing by 13, and came out the other side and was very much an adult by 14, 15, right? So I think that between the two of them, Brittany Murphy could have helped Drew find her softer, more childlike side maybe easier and healed that quicker, and then vice versa helped Brittany Murphy become more of the adult and more independent and not having so much interference and involvement with the mother, because it's very toxic. That whole, the enmeshment between them and the way that whole thing went just on its own was, I think, also part of the reason things were starting to not work out for her. Like, she kept having these failed relationships, whatever, but somehow Simon was cool. The mom was really cool with Simon, but that's because he was going to enable it. He was totally cool having a throuple, basically, with his wife and her mother. Like, there was a whole thing going on there. It was fucked up. It's really fucked up. But we're not talking about Hollywood. We're not talking about Hollywood right now. I know, that's usually the main thing here, but we're going to stay focused. We're going to go for another, like, maybe another hour maybe, and then we'll want to wrap it up. So we want to try to get as much on the board as we can in this time. More about Kushner. What do we got? What do we got here? But yeah, I kind of had to get to there to get back to here and to go back to there, and yeah. And all of this connects too, because I feel like a big part of it, like if we go, I'm not going to do it right now, but the Brittany Murphy map that kind of became the Dark Hollywood map and how it's kind of expanding now, but the Brittany Murphy map on its own, the amount of stuff that was going on and what we know now versus what was going on then, and like her passing being very eerily similar to Diddy's, the mother of his children, Kim Porter, how she passed. It's all very sus. And Ashton and Diddy, and they were all in it together. That was the early, the parties had started. It was Diddy and Ashton and Jamie Foxx were like the buddy group that had started that. And Jamie Foxx kind of went off and did his thing, and then he even said that he felt that he had been poisoned or whatever, and that's what had caused a bunch of health issues for him, right? So a lot of unsolved, suspicious, mysterious deaths that happened over the years. Like, it seems like there was something going on here between the fashion and the all of this stuff from both sides, from within the music industry, the entertainment, all the entertainment industries, even with athletes. Like, look what happened to Kobe Bryant. It was like a month after he went to a Diddy party. Maybe the blackmailing wasn't going to work, or whatever was going on there. Like, I don't know. I can't, like, that's just speculative, obviously, but there was a lot going on there. And the Brittany Murphy was like she was a hub of that, where Drew is like a hub of the living that made it through, and like, but there was a ton of people that had passed that surrounded her, and they connect in between. Like, they all worked together. They were peers. They were colleagues. And people want to think, like, oh, this person's having such a hard time. Why is she such a drug addict? Why is she this? Why is she that? Well, probably because all her friends kept dying. Like, maybe just that alone, whether she was abused or not, all of her friends and peers and colleagues kept dying. Like, people around her, everyone kept dying. Like, starting with Heather O'Rourke was her good friend. They hung out and knew each other because they were both auditioning for Poltergeist in the start, and then it was Kathleen Kennedy decided Drew would be better for E.T. or whatever, but they knew each other. And right from the get-go, her friends are dropping dead. So 12, 13, her friends dropping dead. Of course she's going into rehab, like, for heavy narcotic addiction to just survive the battlefield of child acting, It's a whole situation. Husband. Oh, Jared Kushner was the husband of Ivanka Trump's son-in-law. So it's the son-in-law. He's the son-in-law. Of course he is. Okay. Here we go. We're going to get Trump's whole family tree on here. We're going to have to get Ivanka probably too. Let me get Ivana and Ivanka. Which one's which? Ivanka's the daughter then. It's Ivana and Ivanka. And for the amount that he's like, with the immigration thing, and everyone he's been with has been an immigrant, I'm pretty sure. So that's interesting. But I guess it doesn't count if they're trafficked into the country. It's different. They don't need to be deported if they're trafficked in, right? Is that the policy? I don't know. I don't know how you guys do things down there. Oh, it's not even funny. It's not even a laughing matter. I shouldn't even be laughing, but like, it's if you don't laugh, you'll cry sometimes with the darkness of all the darkness. Actually, we're gonna stick these down here somewhere, and then there's Baron and the other DJT Junior or whatever. Because there's nothing more narcissistic than having 3 or 4 people all with the same name, and then numbers. If that's not like the sure sign of a narcissistic cult family system, I don't know what is. How many juniors you got here, buddy guy? It doesn't matter. We'll leave that for now. This Kushner guy. We're going to bring him over here because he's going to connect somewhere over here. And he did what? Senior advisor between 2017 and 2021. Of course. Of course. Advisor. We'll throw this in here. Okay. Okay. And who is he married to? Ivanka. Alright. Ivanka. Alright. All I can think about is the Sesame Street Dracula thing. I want to suck your blood. Oh, it's not even funny. I need more sleep, guys. It's been like this has been the longest year, and it's literally only been 2 weeks. It's insane. Okay, she's no longer with us, but they were one-time connecticles. We'll do it like this. Dead end. And poor... Oh no, that's the daughter. Never mind. Hold on. We're confusing ourselves now. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's just leave it for now. We'll come back. Son of Charles Kushner. New Jersey real estate developer, owns Kushner Companies. Former publisher of the New York Observer. Of course. Okay. We'll throw him in there. I'll throw more details in a minute. We'll come back to him. But that's an interesting choice. You gotta think that, like, a lot of times, too, it's more of, like, a business arrangement than a love story when these people get together sometimes. It's more of the families. They're kind of, like, predetermined sometimes, depending on what families are hanging out and where they go to school and who happens to be in the age group at the time and who they're introducing when they're kids. And, you know, a lot of it's very, like, predetermined. Oh, did I bring the whole thing? I don't want the whole thing. No, okay, I just want the color. Kushner. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Come back. Kushner. Forgot what I was doing there. Kushner Companies. Okay, fuck. Did it do... And we'll put a note there with more of that info in a minute. But let's flesh this out a little more here. Shadow Secretary of State. Middle East deals, ran COVID supply chains, prison reform meetings, and more. Okay, so, but they say there's no shadow government. There's no shadow government, but just shadow people. Just shadow secretaries and executives and shadow people in the background pulling strings and stuff. Gal pals with, yeah, that makes sense. Nikki Hilton married, oh, of course she did. Interesting. Kushner likes, oh boy. I'm not even gonna read that. You gotta be careful what you're talking about there, by the way. If it's gonna be, it's indelible. It's in the stream now. Let's keep it PG. PG at least. PG-13, guys. Come on. Met directly with George Nader. So they were all familiar with this guy. He was part Trump transition and early presidency. So he was part of it too. Okay. Bring him more over here because he's gonna go somewhere in between us. Get in the between us there, Jared. And it's all very, like, pseudo-incestuous to an extent when you think about it, how they're the overlapping of things sometimes. And, like, if all these people are willing to overlook crimes against young boys as young as 3, we're gonna truly believe that they weren't willing to turn a blind eye to the teens over there. We're really gonna believe that. I think that alone says so much right there. Like, all these people were aware, and this was 2017 to 2021, and he was picked up again in 2018. But we're still part of it. We're all still buddy guys. Don't worry, guys. We're buddy guys. Till the end. Or until he ends you, I guess. Poor Epstein. Now, you know, now that you think about it, maybe he was going to turn over and he was going to break this thing wide open, as much as he was a bad agent in the whole thing. There's a reason they took him out, you know, or he was... I don't know. I don't think he killed himself. I don't think most people think he did. I don't know of anybody that believes that he did it to himself, actually, now that I think about it. Soft but suspicious threads. Okay. What do we got here? Property. Epstein owned property near Trump Tower. That's probably the Manhattan one, right? 666 Fifth Avenue. Kushner Company, 666 Fifth. That's... You can't fucking make this shit up, bro. Jesus, Murphy anyways. Oh, right down on 5th Avenue. 666. You can't miss it. You can't miss it. Holy shit. I'm gonna need more coffee for this already. This is already, like, I can't even make this up. Like, you cannot make this up. Some people make up some pretty wild shit, but you literally cannot. Fuck's sakes. Like, for fuck... Is this a movie? Or, like, okay, is this Truman Show? Okay, guys. You know, the jig is up. I'm on to you. This weird IRL reality show we're living in right now is not funny anymore. We're not having fun anymore. Oh, my freaking God. And this is literally, like, this is right in everybody's face. This is right in your face. This is in his family. This is his brother, son-in-law. Oh my good God. It actually goes like this, I think. But yeah, we're gonna take a break. We're almost at 2 hours. Yeah, it's a good time to take a break. You guys stretch your legs. Get a refill on your bevies and your snacks or whatever, or fucking go throw up. I don't know. I'm feeling a little, like, I got knots in my stomach on that one. I'm like, oh my God. Like... And I've been trying to say this about the Trump connections, this whole thing, for so long, and the amount of people that argued with me. And not that even really means anything, because I don't think that it has as much significance as many people want to make either, because I think there's a lot more evil operating under the guise of good. You know? Like, I almost rather you just be in your face about it. Like, if you're into that shit, just be in our face about it. Don't pretend like you go to church every Sunday and, like, you're this little happy family, and then, like, the John Bonet thing happens. Like, just be upfront. Just be upfront so we know to expect that. You know, if you come out and you're publicly into that the darkness of it all, like, we can come to expect that. We know Michael Aquino is a sick, weird, depraved guy because he's open about it. We know that. At least we know that. Right? So, fuck's sakes. All right, yeah, let's get a coffee. Let's take 2 minutes. I'm going to use the facilities probably here quick, too, because the coffee's going to be running through me before I know it. Or it is going to be. As soon as I stand up, I feel like we're going to need to visit that. Coffee isn't strong enough. Yeah, this is Espresso 2026, guys. We're wide awake now. The manifestation of energy. Love it. Hope isn't offensive. I'm whatever you want me to be, baby. Doesn't really matter. I'm not interested in any of you, and I'm not open for business. The dance club, the Oddfellows dance club. Okay, it sounds like that's the Oddfellows. That I'm gonna mark that on the notes for the other side of things, for the Universal side of things, because it sounds like that has to do with the whole thing. Yeah, it's almost more, yeah, to lie to you when you know they're lying. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, there's a spectrum. There's a spectrum. Um, Oddfellows. Okay, hold on. What was that with the Oddfellows? Downtown Club, Vegas. Well, and that's like a whole pipeline through like the wholesome Mormon Utah Wonder Bread land, going straight through Sin City, and then into Hollywood. Right? It's like there's a whole pipeline there when you look at it too. Okay. All right, for real now though. Let's take 2 minutes. I'll be right back. We'll catch up with the chat here, and we'll just keep on keeping on with this. Both Kushner and Epstein operated in the NYC elite real estate circle. Oh, okay. Hold on. We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to do that first before I go anywhere. Hey, Sai, welcome. Better late than never. You're not really missing out much. It's still in the early stages, so we've got, we've only gotten so far. You haven't really missed too much at all. No worries. But the Epstein, this needs to connect over to here. The real estate, I guess it's the companies. Was trying to recover from massive failed investment, leading Jared to pursue foreign money aggressively from all these places. Bragged about influence in elite financial circles. Secret meetings with MBS, the Saudi crown prince. Of course he did. Epstein had direct ties to Yud Barak. Okay, no, we're gonna have to come back and do this. That's a lot. There's a lot there. Okay, yeah. We're gonna BRB quick, and then we'll keep going here. Alrighty then. Let's get back to her. Where did I put it? There it is. Boom. Okay. So this is a little complicated, and I think this is the same guy. The Saudi prince guy. One sec. I think the Saudi prince guy, that's the guy. What was it, like 2018? It could have changed, I guess, by now. Mohammed bin Salman. Oh, it's a different guy. We got Mohammed bin here. Mohammed bin there. So we got the Saudi prince, Mohammed bin Saudi. Solomon? How the fucking Salmon? Salmon, okay. And no hate, no, not meaning to be disrespectful by any means to other cultures. I'm trying to keep up here. Oh, no, shit. What are we doing? Pay attention. Saudi and Salman go up here. So they were aggressively seeking aid from a Saudi prince. I guess we could bring this down here. I feel like it's going to connect now very bigly. It's connecting bigly. Huge. It's going to be huge. Isn't that what Buddy Guy says? Yeah, I think so too. Sassafras. Oh my good God. Yeah, that I saw that the comparisons of Aquino and Vance. If he did the eyebrow trick, if he did the fancy eyebrows, if he did the little updo to his eyebrows, he would yeah, I could see it. A little bit. It's a little bit iffy. You gotta wonder, man. You gotta wonder, because there is all kinds of different deals that happen in different family arrangements. Sometimes, like Rosemary's Baby was probably trying to tell us something, and maybe not to the extent of like the supernatural of it all, but I'm trying to program with the bit music, the 8-bit music. I was trying to like a spooky but like retro. I don't know. I'm going for a certain vibe. It might not be the right one. I might need to change it up to some other in-betweenist music. I don't know. It might not even be the one I think that it is, because I was cycling through a couple. Your brain just broke. You like the 8-bit keyboard, THX? Yeah, right on. It's just an in-betweenist, like, little tune to have. I don't know. I'll probably fiddle with that some more. I've been playing around a bit with the AI stuff, like, to do the background music for videos and stuff, and I started fiddling around even with, like, the vocals. Like, the outro song is one that I had put together for the Brittany Murphy video, and it just caught on. It was okay. It's catchy. Like, it stuck. It was growing on me, so it stuck, and then, so now I use it as the outro. So I don't know. It might change. We might fiddle around and get more custom tunage for in between. And yeah, no, it's all good. I'm just sorry, Denise LaFrance. Yeah, it's cool. I guess that's a valid question. I have a very youthful voice. You know, David Bowie's rolling over in his grave as we speak. Yeah, that's all gonna connect. There's a lot of tech stuff, like an Elon, the Elon Peon breakup situation. We'll have to get that in here somehow too. But the real estate, we're going to put. How are we doing this? Yeah, we'll just use one of these, and then we'll just put like the word real estate. New York real estate, because there's different ways that actually hold on, different ways these people all connect to each other. It doesn't have to be so directly all the time, but if they're all buddies that way, where it helped him rescue his dad's company or whatever, the building, they all work together to get that going. So Kushner had secret meetings with the Saudi prince with encrypted apps against White House protocol, apparently. Apparently, that's the word on the street. Hey now, you guys. Calm down. I don't need to get you so excited. I should... Alright, deeply embedded with the hat people, the little people hats. Do we got that? Let's just, here's what we're gonna do. Have an idea. Have an idea. Follow me now. I gotta find one that's gonna make this work for me. Hold on. You guys, oh, you can't even see what I'm doing, can you? Hold on. It's gonna be worth it. I promise. Just wait 1 second. It's gonna make sense. We're gonna do this. No, that's disrespectful to Mexicans. They don't get to use that hat. Oh, this is a fun hat. No. I'm looking at hats. I'm looking at little hats. So we can put a little hat on it. So you know what I mean? It's a little hat. Because it's that place that we're not allowed to talk about. The Voldemorts. Do we like that hat? Is that a good hat? We can pick hats together. They have Santa ones. They have party hats. They have graduation hats. They have captain hats. Yeah. I think the jester's hat's kind of funny. I think that kind of works for me. Does that work for you guys? Do you understand? Do you understand? Like how the iceberg, the Steven Iceberg code, we got some code going here so that we're not gonna, because like, you know, I don't want to die. Eud Barak Mossad. That guy's gonna go in here too. Ooh. The plot is thickening. And he was named too, isn't he? He's one of the people. He's one of the people that's been named in the lawsuits with the kids, people, young women's, young girls, all different ones at different points in time. Oh, it might be the fan on my laptop sometimes when it starts getting heavy duty, the fan gets a little louder. I gotta get a different underneath thing fan for the, because it's always overheating because it's running like all the time, 18 hours a day sometimes, non-stop, and it's a laptop and it gets very warm. So I have the under fan and the over fan, and it sometimes it sounds like a helicopter is going to take off. So I need to get that's the next thing on the list, is getting a better cooling pad thing, because this one's seen better days, and it's all, I gotta rip it open and clear it out, probably clean it out. It's probably got gunk in it or something, and it makes more noise now. It's starting to make more noise all the time. So I'll try to move this over a bit more though, so that's not quite, shouldn't even be picking it up from that far away. I have this over, whatever. I have other stuff. I have in a storage unit, I have a little, it's like a box thing for the sound that makes it a little better. Because I can run, when I'm doing recordings or anything for a video, I can run it through an audio enhancing thing, so it can remove whatever background noise, so it doesn't really matter. But for this, for doing the doing live streams, it's better to have the better quality, crispy sound coming through. Or are you hearing static? Is it something? Hold on, I might gotta, did I not shut off the thing? Is there something playing in the background that I can't hear? Hold on. I might have clicked a window and it might have opened and be playing music, but it would be going through the thing, so I wouldn't hear it. Hold on, let me look. I don't know what you guys are hearing. Hold on, let me just go to the friggin' stream and see if I can hear what you guys are hearing right now. You surely even realized what he was stumbling into. I think he really just thought it was this. I think it seems, no, we're too far back. It's not too bad. It's the fan, though. It is the fan. That's the fan. That's on the list of things. But the Earth subscription comes first. Hey, Dream to Life, you made it. How's it going, eh? Alex made it. Right on. Welcome, welcome, folks. Oh, it's probably the fan. And when I move the thing, sometimes, like, it'll I don't know. And when the computer is doing more heavy duty stuff, the fan in the computer picks up a little bit. Like it's adaptive, so it probably picked up that. And when I moved the mic, maybe it was a little too close. I'm trying to keep it far enough away that it's not going to pick it up, but yeah. Yeah. There you go. Big problem, yeah. Hitting the ground running, yes. Kaiser Permanente. Who? I believe that. That's what I was saying. That's going to be one of the heads is the farmers. That's a farmer. Farmer. We're going to have this over here somewhere. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Let's focus on this. So do we like this hat then? Are we all in agreement? This hat's fine? I know it's a delayed a little bit, so I was kind of waiting to see. You heard it earlier, but not anymore? Or it could have been the end of that Pixel song or something. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's no feedback now. Oh, the mic might have been a little too close to the... Yeah, okay. I gotta move. It's a different mic now, too. I got a new mic. Finally, I've updated the mic, but now it's, like, too sensitive, and it's picking up on other shit, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's been a long time since I was doing the streaming regularly, so I'm just, like, not fully proper set up for it. Been gone a minute or so. Okay, so it's all good. Well, and there's a delay, though, so by the time it comes back around... Your brain's currently made of 95% cartoons. That's fine, as long as it works for you. We all got a system that works, right? Okay, everybody's cool with the hat then, I guess. We're fine with this decision. We're going with it. Okay, so... Now where did I put my notes? Here we go. And I sound louder? Okay, cool. Alright, yeah, maybe you didn't have it... maybe on this side's a little better. We're figuring it out. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fine. But yeah, this is better. Maybe, yeah, because this is... I guess this, yeah, that'll work. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta prepare for that. We gotta go, like... We need, supplies. We need to stockpile some supplies for that. And go, like, underground or something. Go on the road. Digital nomad style. Can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fine. It just, I have to, yeah, it's overdue. There's certain things that, like, I run stuff into the ground, man. Like, I will not buy the new thing until it's, like, on its last legs. Like, I've been due to get a new phone. They want to give me a new phone, and they keep bugging me about it. I'm like, but my phone right now works. Like, I don't need that, though. Like, I wait till my phone doesn't work anymore, then we'll talk about it. But they're, like, want to shove the next new thing down your throat. But if I can make that thing run, like, computers are supposed to, like, you're supposed to get a solid, like, 3 to 5 years out of it now, and then you generally need to do upgrades or get a new one or whatever. But, like, I'm going to be pushing, we're pushing it to 7 to 10 years out of this bad boy. And if I got to replace some stuff inside, fine. But, yeah, yeah. But for this, I should probably get the better cooling pad and all that. For the sake of protecting the equipment, too. Probably it being running hot the way it does sometimes is not great. And they have new technology for that, where it'll, like, suck the heat out of the bottom and push it out instead of blowing heat back up into it. Because a lot of the cooling fans are just blowing the heat back to it, you know, in a way. Okay, how do these guys connect? This one's complicated, so give me 2 seconds here. Direct ties to Eud Barak. Eud Barak. Alright, so we go... and what are we going to call the other guys? We're going to do like this. Got an idea. Got another idea, guys. Actually, we'll leave the hats the same size. It's still kind of funny. And actually, let's group them. So when I gotta move things around, it's not gonna... Okay. Okay. Where'd my tools go now? There we go. Because I'm not sure if it's confirmed, but the word on the street is that he is connected to the secret special service agency. So I'm going to put that there for now. I'm not really sure. Actually, let's do it like this. We're not sure. We're not really sure. I have to confirm. I have to look. Deeply embedded. Epstein network soaked in blah blah blah. Yes. Okay. So this guy, we're gonna make a node. We're gonna need a node to connect the connecticles. Excuse me, connecticles. Oops. Okay. Virginia mentioned. Yeah, you guys know what's going on there? You guys get that? You guys get what I did there? Yes, you know. You said it. You know. Okay, we get it. We know. All right. Diplomacy. She was really tied in with them too. So then, like, yeah, this is where the Ivanka thing comes in. Okay. Okay. Hold on. We're gonna need a couple nodes here. You can be gray though, and you can go like this, and with little tiny little node, because you're like a unit. It's like a family unit. So we're connectical here. Can you guys see this? Where are we? I might be too far over. Hold on. There we go. Connectical here. Connectical here. And bring the wifey. We should do, I gotta do like a little, oops, different color or a different line thing so we know they're together. Little ends, there we go. Okay. And then we have our node, and then we can bring our node over here. Okay. New York real estate, Saudi prince. Okay, how did that all connect now? Fuck. So we got $2 billion from the Saudi prince. Okay. Alright, we're gonna have fun with this because we can. Because why not? Now that I know we can do this. $2 billion. Doll hairs. That's an awful lot of money just to try to save a building. Like, what the fuck is going on there? It's a little weird. It's a little fishy. They're worried about Russia. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Boop, 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 doop, down, 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 boop, down, 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 down. Do 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 do. $2 billion. No. Actually, we want it attached though. Or yeah, I can do that. Hold on. 2 billion. No, you're not doing it. $2 billion. Right here. Okay. And we did like this. Beep. And we do like this. Beep. And we'll make it green. Or no, we use the same green we've been using. Okay. And the money came from here to here. Beep. Boop. Beep boop. Oh, but then they don't connect. Oh, that's gonna... Not gonna be great. I probably gotta put a note under it. Okay, hold on. We're gonna have to get technical here, guys. We're gonna make it work. Cause I need it to work now. I'm invested now. Yep. It's not working. Goddamn. Okay, whatever. Boo. That was gonna be fun. Alright, we're just gonna use a node. Wanted it to be fun. Why can't it be fun? I could probably put a little picture of it on there or something. That's fine. This is why we can't have nice things. Maybe I can stick it to it now, though. Maybe we'll try, like, go a little more simplistic here. And then if it attaches on top, maybe. Maybe it's the way that I layered it. No. Doesn't like me. Group? Yes? Yeah. Ah, boo. Okay, whatever. No, you guys will just put 2 billion on the freaking thing, and because we're gonna want to know where it connects if I gotta move stuff around. So, all right, less fun. But I don't know why it worked for that. I could put the hat on, but I couldn't put the money in. That's kind of weird. Maybe because it has the extra layer outside. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. It doesn't matter. We're being finicky now. Okay. $2 billion for the New York real estate. Actually, we're gonna move all this like this. Or no, we'll go on this side, and this guy can go down here. This guy go over here. Is that not attached to it? Yes. Okay. Oh, it's connected to the outside of it, though. Alright. I guess. Whatever. Okay. I'm not gonna worry about it. Thank you, Sai. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your patience with me here, too, as I'm fiddling around with this. No, she was brought in by this other guy. Modeling agency type guy. She was, like, the word on the street is basically she was trafficked into the country. From my understanding. I could be wrong, though. Don't quote me on that. I would double check on that. But I think, from my understanding, but yeah, so there was like an arrangement between this guy and her. They were working together before, and then he introduced her to Trump. And the word on the street is that it was a business transaction more than anything else. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't really know about that for sure. Okay, and then they were both into the New York real estate. They were very connected that way. So let's get that in there with this node and that connecticles. It's the same kind of circles of people. The high end anyways, like it'd be a lot of the same real estate agents, the same developers, like the elites, the real estate elites. People buying the 20, 30, $40 million penthouses and shit. They all use the same kind of, like, if you watched Rosemary's Baby, as far as like just how they're all interconnected and using one another's services and businesses, like they have a guy like Jeffrey was the financier guy, then they have like their real estate guys, and then they have their, like, you know, there's, you need to borrow $2 billion, $2 billion randomly to save your dad's dying company. Like, if that's not alone enough of a incentive to be like, hey, well, you're in our family now, and you're gonna keep secrets for us. You want us to help you save your company? You want the connections and us to help you save your 666 building that your dad built up the company and the company's going under? Well, here's your somehow backwards forwards. We've got the financier coming in helping connect up the. Why is that not connecting now? For frig's sakes. We'll do it like that. Okay, that's fine. I think that works. Alright. Jesus Murphy. Here we go. Gonna get gray hairs doing this, I think. This is gonna be it. This is what's gonna do it. So they linked him up. There's a connection in between there, so hold on. Let me make sure I get this right, though. Old school Photoshop? No, it's brand new school. It's way easier. Fuck, I stopped using Photoshop so long ago. This is like a game changer. Okay. Sovereign Wealth Fund is this. Does this move now? Yes. Okay, cool. Oh, George Nader and Co. Is the UAE the same? Are these the same freaking people? Is this supposed to be the same people? It's just telling me a different time. Is UAE Saudi Arabia? United Arabian States or whatever it is? No, they're different. There's the United Arab Emirates. Okay, so these are different people. The United Arab Emirates and then the Saudis. Okay. Okay. And this guy also owned a company called, not Miss Universe. Come back now. Where are you? George Nader and Co. Okay. We'll worry about connect that because there's probably more people involved in that. We'll connect that in a minute. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. Okay, so this is them. Saudi. You can tell I didn't really like geography class, right? Oh, shoot. Nope, you can't hear me. Sorry. Yep, it's new. It's a new one. That was my fault this time. It's not the mute button's fault this time. That was my fault. But okay, yeah. So I think we're starting to get a clearer picture here. But it is kind of complicated, and it's basically they overlap. They may not have met directly. Kushner might not have directly dealt with Epstein, but their business and the real estate worlds, the financial worlds in New York, all seem to match up. And actually, what's his Manhattan apartment? This is former Prime Minister and IDF General. Ooh, of course he is. Okay. How are we gonna do that one? We're just gonna leave it like that, I think, for now. Okay. Millions. Received millions in investments from Epstein into his tech firm Carbine 911. Interesting. Interesting. That needs to go on here, I think. That's an interesting name for your company also, I think. To be doing direct business with, like, everyone's laughing at each other. Like, they're like, yeah, we'll do business with you and give you millions of dollars, but we're laughing at you at the same time. And what do they do there, I wonder? At this tech firm. Anybody know about this guy? What's going on here? No, I think this hand. Oh, no, I was right the first time. Okay. And green, because money. Funding. Alright, emergency response platform with real-time surveillance. Peter Thiel, here we go. Here's Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is joining the party, guys. Now we're getting into it all here. Oh, Lord. Didn't take long. Get right into the dragon's den. You can't read the... Oh, hold on. Is this better? This situation right here. Actually, let's make it a node in between because there's gonna be more. There's gonna be more. I already know. Yeah, we'll get to them. They're all interconnected. And they all went to dinners together and stuff. Like, Trump was friendly with them. Like, obviously on the political, they are different teams or whatever in a way, but they're all in the same shit together. They're just, it's a competition for who's gonna have more power, really. Is that better? Can you guys read that a little better now? Geography was taught by boring teachers, that's why. Yeah, pretty much. Well, they combined classes at one point, and the one school, they're doing, like, civics and geography and everything. I think it was all in one fucking thing, and it was just boring as hell. I hated that. so much. And what did it matter? We were gonna be different people every 4 years, so what the fuck do we care what it is right now? You know, like, if I want to look into that history, I'll look into the history. But okay, they did what? And Jared Kushner. Okay, and good thing we put a node over there because the node is happening. The nodes are noding. I'm glad I started doing this. This is making it so much more tidier too. Like, I'm definitely going to have to redo parts of the Dark Hollywood mind map. Because these nodes, like, oh, game changer. I could probably make it a little tinier here. Tidy this up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Okay. And then these guys connected to this node in their own little way. Actually, this goes right to it, so we'll just go direct. We'll go direct. And this was what? Funding? Funded by. Okay, so funding. Must be a pretty important company. All these important people funding it. And if he needed $2 billion to save his company, where is he giving money over here? That's interesting. Interesting choice. Unless it's at a different time. I guess these could all be at different times. Later. You scratch our back later, you know? Okay. Also introduced Epstein to investors in, and then the Silicon Valley in, yeah, here we go. Okay. Maybe that's what we'll call it. We won't even call it the tech industry. We'll just call it Silicon Valley, because that's what it is. And this is, I guess, where they started getting in with Elon. Palantir, that's going to have to go on here, too. Yeah, Silicon Valley. Okay, we're gonna have to figure out how that all connects after. I'm gonna just throw this in here, and then we'll throw this one over here, because there's more, like, it's a span of like 10 years, right? So we're gonna have to section out when these introductions were made. But they're, the Palantir, I believe that's also Peter Thiel, I think, isn't it? And then Elon's in here somewhere, so we're gonna throw him in over here. Because he fits into it. He helped a lot in the last one, right? And I don't think he really knew what he was getting into. BlackRock, yeah, that's true. BlackRock and Vanguard need to be over here too. You're right. See, this is why it's a group project. You guys are helping already. Perfect. Because yes, those are big arms. Big arms of the whole operation. They own a lot of the real estate. They're like buying up all the stuff. And then Bill Gates is buying all the farmland and all. It's just getting terrifying, guys. Like, really, to be honest. Like, there's supposed to be laws against monopolies, but they found different little shell companies and workarounds to be able to do all this shit without it being illegal or whatever. Not that the legalness stops people that are corrupt and whatever already, but high school geography teacher's husband was a Shriner, and she was something too. I believe it. Yeah, that Wayfair thing was weird. That was weird. I feel like they had to change up their distributor after that because it was too on the nose with some of those little closets, like matching the names of missing kids and shit. That was fishy. That was pretty fishy. And if it wasn't that, that was a really sick joke on somebody's part, you know? But, like, who's paying $15,000 for a utility closet for their garage? Probably nobody. Like, that better have, like, the highest tech of all the land. And it didn't. It was just a closet, apparently. Like, a little cubby hole locker thing. Some of them. There was other stuff, too, but that's what I was reading into when I saw it. Okay, now where are we here? He has the ambrosia clinics too. I should probably put that in there. He was pushing that big time back in the day, and it's happening. It's happening. They're not FDA approved, but nobody's stopping them, I don't think. They just keep opening new ones. I think that's what that... He's connected to that. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to double check, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. But the anti-aging and stuff, he's way into that. And then Epstein was more like into the eugenics. And then Bill Gates is just trying to get everyone back for that pie in the face. A long time ago. He's just out for population, depopulation, or whatever the fuck he's doing. Actually, here, we'll make him this same size. Oopsie. And he's gonna go in here somewhere, because he's right in there with all the tech stuff. Which, don't forget, when we were talking, and I know I kept saying we're not going to reach back to the Hollywood thing, but this does, Microsoft in the early 2000s was heavily investing into the that Den network thing. And don't forget that Bill Gates is micro and soft. The tiniest, most flaccid computer company there ever was. What a dumb name for a fucking company, man. And then you wonder why you got a pie in the face. Fuck. But he's going to be feeding everybody printed meats real soon because he's buying up all the farmland, and they're already starting to sneak it into your food and you don't even know. It's more in the States. I was freaking out a bit because I thought it was happening here too, but it's not. But it doesn't mean it's not coming our way soon too, so I shouldn't be laughing just yet. Yeah, see, you guys know. You guys know. You know what I'm saying. Kushners have long supported the settlements and the Zionism. Of course they did. Netanyahu once slept in Jared's childhood bedroom during a U.S. visit? I'm sorry, you're what? You did what? You didn't have a proper guest room for that? There was no hotel? Why are you sleeping in your childhood bedroom? What kind of arrangement is that? That's a little weird. I'm gonna do it like this, because I don't know if we're supposed to talk about this either. Netanyahu. You guys know who that is, right? You guys understand what I'm saying. I don't know if we're allowed. But why did he sleep in Jared Kushner's child? Was that the terms of the agreement to get the $2 billion? It's like, yeah, but I want to pretend I'm you as a child for a minute. Like, what? I'm sorry, you did what? Is that real? Is that true? I don't know if that's true. I'm not trusting this right now. I don't know if that's true. It's in the notes, but I don't know. Let's see. Oh, so he's pro-genocide. That's cool. That's good to know. Has a pirate steak restaurant with also the GPS codes. What? Has a pirate steak restaurant with skulls in the ceiling that also has the GPS codes for where Naya Rivera died. That's fishy. That's kind of fishy. And like the Kate Spade thing was pretty fishy too. There's a lot of fishy things going on. And it kind of makes me reconsider the Chris Farley situation. No, I don't think he was either. I'm being silly. I was being silly about that. I know. It's weird. There's something weirder going on there, obviously. That's a good way to do it. Yeah, I like that. Okay, yeah, we're doing that instead, because I think that's a little even more... You guys will know. Hold on. Let me get it a little bigger. Make these a little smaller. Net and Yahoo. Not to be confused with the internet companies. But apparently he's having little sleepovers. They're having like little sleepovers I'm not sure what to think about that right now. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. But that's okay. I don't know. I'm not judging. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Sometimes that's the guest room at your house, is the kids' room, and the kids go slumber party somewhere else. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Well, and the transfusions, they do the transfusions. Okay, yeah, what was the Manhattan Mansion property? Hold on. What was that address? Manhattan, Epstein. I'll look into the layer. Herbert House. The Herbert Strauss House? No. That's not it, is it? Oh, yeah. Claimed to own it, although its registered ownership changed in 2011 from a trust connected to both Wexner. Oh, yeah, we need Les Wexner on here. And then the Herbert House. He moved in 95, but the ownership had changed in 2011 to a trust connected to both Wexner and Epstein, to a trust controlled by Epstein. So he was given this property basically as a gift. This was his reward, I guess. Part of the rewards. Yeah, I believe that. Kate Spade? Is that who you mean? Was trying to talk to old Tom H. And yeah, the Farley, I wonder if it, because, I don't know, like, I do have a theory on the Chris Farley and the David Spade thing, but you know what, yeah, we're not going to get into it over here, because we're not doing the Hollywood map right now, we're doing this right now, but, I think, yeah, there's something. Vicky Ward visited Epstein at the house for the talented Mr. Epstein, her 2003 profile in Vanity Fair. She felt upon entering the house that you feel you have assembled into someone's private Xanadu. Not a mere rich person's home, but a high-walled, eclectic, imperious fantasy that seems to have no boundaries. Well, you had to have locations everywhere, right? For different vibes. He had a copy of The Misfortunes of Virtue by Marquis de Sade, which tells the tale of a trespassed upon 12-year-old, basically a different version of Lolita, sounds like. And he had a desk belonging to the original J.P. Morgan with Persian rugs. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of like it's all the gifts he was getting. He was getting all these gifts and he didn't know what to do with them, so that they seem so eclectic, but it's because he's getting gifts from Persians and Arabians and all these different people. So it would seem pretty, like, all over the place, but then, yeah, and then you've got this J.P. Morgan desk and all this weird shit, but that's, yeah. The web together. Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother, we're not going there right now. But we will get there. I do have Happy Madison on the map that connects to a couple lost souls. Like, the whole Cameron Boyce thing's weird. He was appearing in the Showbiz Kids, speaking out about the industry and his experience in the industry. And one of the movies he'd been on was Grown Ups. And, yeah, they said it was something like, epilepsy or something, but he'd been taking medication for years and didn't have a problem. Like, there was really no issue there. I don't know. It was just something fishy going on there. And then in 2021, Goldman Sachs executive Michael Daffy purchased for $51 million. Okay. Well, yeah, because everything bumped around. With the proceeds of the sale going to the Epstein Victims Compensation Program. Yeah, pennies on the dollar, right? When you're making billions, a couple $100 million ain't much. Okay, so what are we doing here? Where is this going? What was the address? It's the what house? Herbert Strauss House. At what address? Herbert Strauss. 9 East 71st. And this was a gift from your buddy guy. Connects to the real estate, so we'll go over here and bring your buddy guy with you. Yeah, because they're like tight as tight, like a tiger. What was he? He's in the fashion industry too, isn't he? What does he do? Hold on. Leslie Herbert Wexner, chair of the Bath and Body Works. Oh, for fuck's sakes, he ties in with the. Of course, he fucking does. Lizenza, Victoria's Secret, blah 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 blah. We're off to see the wizard, a wonderful Wizard of Oz. Because you gotta have all the products to, you know, keep all the merchandise smelling nice. Or whatever. And looking nice. Okay, and the Abercrombie and Fitch thing, that's like its whole own freaking thing. So, actually we'll grab this one. That's probably about the right size. And this comes back into like the modeling, fashion. He's fashion. I guess we'll say fashion and I don't know. Persian rug would be an expensive gift, yeah. Yeah, the age of disclosure. Yeah. Is it that Amblin is a play on Nambla? Is that the disclosure? The man boy love in? Just ambling along? Just a man boy loving? Maybe a little bit? I don't know. I can't really say. I don't know. That's an iceberg we can't talk about. I'm not even supposed to. I shouldn't even probably said that. I don't really know. I don't know. But based on the TW theory, it seems that he had some favoritism for little boys in tighty whities. That we know for a fact because there's an awful lot of them in all his movies. And Bacall has been speaking about some of that stuff. But yeah, no, we're not going there. I know it all ties it, but let's stay focused. Oh yeah, she needs to be in there somewhere too. She goes up in there let's put her by Ghislaine. She can sit with Ghislaine right now. And Ivanka, or whatever, which I gotta tie those back together here soon too. But let's put her over here. And what was that pilot chick? There's another one too, isn't there? The lesser knowns. Oh, and I can't forget what we're putting here. Hold on. We're getting too ahead of ourselves. Yeah, okay. Abercrombie. Abercrombie and Fitch. Take care if I had one wish. Girl, stop by for the summer. Why they gotta ruin all the best parts of our childhoods? That was a good summertime song. Summer girl flying, summer girl something. I don't really remember the words, but I remember it was like an anthem of the 90s. Or like the summer, it was a summer. That was a summer. Black girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch. Was it like, what was that? It was one of those lesser known bands too. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe it was only Canadian. Maybe it was just in Canada. I don't like them now, though. Shit. Kind of ruined that for us, didn't you guys? Mike Jeffries of it all. He's in there, too. We're going to have to get him in there. And I think he is in jail, or I think he bailed out, but he's got a bunch of things coming up against him as part of the whole overall. Like, people are like, oh, the list. Well, like, maybe they're still investigating and they can't come out and say it because they're going to arrest them. You know? Hopefully, maybe. I think, maybe, because we are seeing some arrests and stuff. You don't hear about it as much, but that Mike Jeffries arrest was pretty damn big. That was a big deal. Because he is in cahoots. And we're going to need one for Victoria's Secret, and we may as well do all of them, I guess, because they're different branches of the same thing. They probably all go together here somewhere. It's all, like, you need to have sponsors for the undergarments of the merchandise. Gotta have the best of the best. Victoria's Secret for the ladies, Lizenza for the teens. Right? Because that's what that is, isn't it? Lizenza's like the Victoria's Secret for kids. Pretty sure. Oops. And, like, come on now. People know that people get gratification for the Victoria's Secret magazines, and they're not thinking that kids in magazines in tighty whities and shit isn't, or in movies isn't gratifying a certain clientele. Okay, oh, Shapiro murder investigation. Signed to Les Wexner's account. Ground jury justify legal tax scheme. Oh, that's gonna have to go on here too. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but let's throw them in here. And we gotta finish her. Hold on. Too many connections at once. System overload. Okay, Chandler goes in here somewhere. And then this Shapiro guy. Figure out where he's going soon. How that's going to fit in there. Arthur Shapiro. Interesting. Days before the testimony, he was assassinated in a way that witnesses described as similar to a mafia hit. Potential nexus between Shapiro, Mafia, Wexner as part of the police investigation. Many people and entities connected to Wexner were looked at for any connections to the mob. The Arthur Shapiro murder file. Dun dun. Married to the mob. Cool. Awesome. His business partner, Barry Kessler, no connection to Wexner, who had a history of murdering his business partners by contracting mafia men. Kessler was involved with Shapiro in the legal tax avoidance schemes, had a motive to silence him. Okay. Alright. Let's not get too far. Wexner granted Epstein power of attorney and instated him as the trustee on the board of the Wexner Foundation. Of course he did. Because they're buddy guys, right? Buddy guy. Best buddy guy. Okay. Wexner Foundational. Boy. Yeah. It's not our fault we didn't know before we knew, but once you know. Victoria's Secret Junior. Yeah, they're like really best buddy guys, eh? Really best buddy guys. And this guy is a good guy. Seems like good guy. Green, let's go for green, yeah. But the green is the money. We'll just leave it like that for now. I don't know. We're gonna make, but this has to be red and then crossed out because he's no longer with us. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting here, guys. It's gonna make sense, I promise. Okay, you know what? That's gonna be a node. We're gonna put a node in between here because obviously they were very toy. Okay, where's this Mike Jeffries guy? Connecticals. From 1992 to 2014, he engineered turnaround from fashion backwater to grossing $2 billion. I wonder how it was losing $25 million a year to flip-flop it around to earning $2 billion a year. Interesting. Wonder how that happened. Class action lawsuit alleged to the tenure of the company. Over 100 young men. 100. Okay. So he's blue. And he's bad guy. Bad guy. Bad guy. Okay. Or actually, no. The outside needs to be... Oops. Nope. Can't figure it out. Let's go. Very bad guy. Alright. Yeah, let's do a little note for him, too. Very bad guy. 2023 class action suit. Traffic jams. 100 men. Promises of employment, modeling spots, money, and drugs. He was arrested in 2024. Arrested in a separate case, indicted. Arrested. Federal by feds. Traffic jam charges. Okay. You guys get it, right? You know what I'm saying? Perfect. I used to do a really good Cartman voice. It's not so great anymore, but... Ma'am, this is my cheese puffs. Respect my authority. Can't do it as good anymore. I used to do it a lot better when I was a kid. But ma'am, those are my cheesy poofs. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Alright. It's making sense. It's all making sense. We'll stick them over here. Abercrombie and Finch. Was it Len? Or was it... Oh, no. It was... Yeah, LFO did Summer Girls. And then, yeah, Len was Steal My Sunshine. Make sure I'm not in too deep. If you steal my sunshine, make me first and on my feet. Wow, I actually remember so much that song. It was so long ago. To be 10 again. What a year, what a summer. If you steal my sunshine. Well, does he like butter tarts? Yeah, it's gotta be Canadian. We love our butter tarts. We gotta cheer him up. Does he like butter tarts? Okay, and interstate. Allegedly occurred in Jeffrey's New York residences, luxury hotels around the world, all the same kind of idea. Jeffries and Matthew Smith. Former model alleged that Jeffries and his partner Matthew Smith would search for men on the internet, provide them money, drugs, Both indicted. Okay, so we need him on there too. Oops. Shit. Okay. Duplicate. Smith. Mr. Smith. Matthew Smith. Okay, buddy guys. More buddy guys. Look at you closely, buddy guys. It's like birds of a feather flock together or something sometime. Once upon a time. Okay. Actually, that doesn't make sense now. Hold on. That is the node. Hold on. Okay, you're gonna go over here for now. Oh, it's getting complicated. Actually, yeah, we're still gonna need a node, but we're gonna do this separately here. Shoot. Okay, hold on. Hold your horses! Yeah, Len did steal your sunshine, I remember that. They're like one of those one-hit wonders. And like now, I'm pretty sure, like one-hit wonders were like the good ones. You know? They're the ones that like got the taste of it and were given the offers of where to go from there, and they were like, actually, no. No thank you, you know? Rather than like that they didn't have what it took, you know? It's that they didn't want to do what it would take to keep going, is kind of my figuring. What a nice guy. Put him in the trust, give him a free mansion. I wonder why that is. I wonder what kind of arrangement. That you wouldn't want a paper trail necessarily. But if you were wanting to pay somebody for something, what would you be paying him for, I wonder? Or is he just such a nice buddy guy? Are they just best buddy guys? He's so generous, giving his best buddy guy all these little gifts. How generous. That's bromance. I guess the next hearing for Mike Jeffries is March 2026. I gotta maybe put that on the calendar here. So should maybe stay on some of this stuff now that it's all starting to actually unfold and people are awake to it and not gonna be just arguing about it. Yeah, Wexner and Epstein were just friends. Yeah. Sure, this is in the Netflix, are the for sure names in there. I'm forgetting. I don't know. Did they do a Netflix one? I don't know. Howard was allowed to publish this book before Lucasfilm was sold to Disney. I asked about it and was told he could do whatever he wanted to do. Who? Who's Howard? I think I missed something there. What was creepy? Oh, they were brother and sister? I didn't know that. I don't actually remember. I can't even picture what they looked like in my head right now, but there was a music video for that, I'm pretty sure. You were in high school and the song was popular. It was creepy learning that they were related afterwards. Why? What was weird? I don't know. Maybe I missed something, though. Maybe it was in the music video there was something weird. I don't really know. I just remember the song. I was like a little kid. I was like maybe like 9 or 10. And it used to be on the radio all the time. We'd be in the fucking outside playing by the creek and whatever. And where the backyards were by where I lived as a little, like that summer was, you have the tunes on and in the backyard and you could hear the tunes. Like it was just like the anthem of the summer. You know, some of those songs would play all the time. Plus, like, like Shaggy Wasn't Me. Probably had no business listening to that kind of music at fucking 9 years old, but we all thought it was fun to know all the words. Lieber Harvard lab was injecting nanowires mesh to wrap around neurons and retinas so people would get shots and have black eyes. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it's true about the one-hit wonders. Yeah. Oh, look at me. I'm almost caught up. Run on. They're a sibling. Tegan and Sarah were siblings? No. What? Didn't they fucking... Maybe it was... No. At the one Much Music or MTV Music Awards, didn't they, like, make out? And then they had all these, like, girls come out in, like, schoolgirl outfits and everyone making out. It was, like, one of the biggest moments of Much Music history. Because, like, the girls kissing. And then it just started a trend because then, like, Madonna and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera kissed in another one. Or maybe that was the same one. They were just trying to normalize that. But I thought they were together. Like, weren't they together? Like a couple? I thought they were a couple. That's weird. I'm confused now. I'm maybe not remembering it correctly. Baby got back. Yeah. Little in the middle, but you got much back. My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun. Yeah, no business. I had no business listening to any of that as a 9, 10-year-old. But they are into girls, so maybe they weren't kissing each other. They kissed other girls on stage or something. I thought they kissed each other at the end of their set, and then the girls they all started coming out of the back and into the crowd or whatever down the lanes, and like kissing. It was like a big moment. Okay, hold on. Let's not get too distracted here. Okay, we got him. Then, what's the deal with Wexner? Going back to Wexner. Oh yeah, no. Then that was after the Britney, Madonna, Christina. I'm pretty sure that was after. Okay, so this freaking guy obviously knew what was going on with the whole Amber Crosby situation, but he was playing on the girls' team more so. He was like head of this side where these guys took over the... That makes sense. He is like the benefactor. Like if this is... What was that book? Was it? It's not The Great Gatsby. What's the other one? Great Expectations. And the guy gives them a sandwich or whatever in the beginning, and then he becomes the benefactor. He's like some rich benefactor for no reason. Because it's definitely because he gave him a sandwich, right? Did he give you a sandwich, Les Wexner? You got a little Jeffrey sandwich. Let's make this a little thicker because he's like in it. We're in it. We're gonna have to... I'll start making some of these lines make more sense too. Like thickest thieves. For these connections, because some of them are connecting. This needs to change colors. That's actually shaping up to be a pretty good little map here. What are we coming on 3 hours? It's not bad. I think maybe we can almost leave it at that here shortly. And I'll connect up some stuff later when I'm done the other shit I was gonna do. And then before I crash tonight, I'll connect a couple of these strays. We have stray stuff hanging out. I think that's probably gonna come over to this section by Silicon Valley and everything. I'll start making some of that make more sense before the next one. But I think that's probably fine. That's probably good for now. I think that's enough. That's enough Epstein rabbit hole for me anyway for now too. It's a lot. It's a lot. Gotta come up for air sometimes. Go to a different rabbit hole and come back around. Had some uncomfortable weirdness too. Yeah, like with the Tom and Huck thing too, with the older man and having the mentor with the little kids. Like the way that certain things were normalized, and then the people that really loved those stories and stuff, like it makes you wonder, like people that are obsessed with Peter Pan in such a way, like that was written, like J.M. Barrie was a known boy lover, and then Alice in Wonderland, he was very openly into little kids. The story was written to entice the 4-year-old he was in love with, and it kind of followed her through her life until she aged out, and then he dated, I guess, literally dated all these kids. They was writing them love letters and would photograph them nude, and it was totally normal because his little story that he had used to groom and entice that first kid all these other little kids loved it, and it made a ton of money. So they were like, yeah, go with Uncle Lewis Carroll for the weekend. Don't worry. Take the opium. It's fine. Like, fuck. Holy fuck. And then you wonder why those are stories that are, like, the most reproduced and most cherished of all time. Because, yeah, on one hand, it's like you can entice the kids with it, and that means big money. It means it's a surefire hit amongst that demographic. But then also why? But then also why? Is that part of the disclosure, too? Oh, yeah. Well, you guys know how I feel about that. Stand By Me is one of the most disturbing examples of the TW theory, right? Gangsta's Paradise always makes me think of the roller skating parties. Oh, that's a nice throwback. That's nice. Dickens manages weirdness in a way where you know it's supposed to be weird, but Stephen King does it too, but he is weird. Yeah. Well, like, if you weren't there for the live stream when we watched the behind the scenes of the Stand By Me, and then Rob and Stephen King talking about the scene, the leech scene, and the thing, and how that was a real thing, and it's like one of his fondest memories, Stephen King's fondest memories of, like, playing in the woods with his friends and then everyone getting naked together. Like, why is that your fondest childhood memory? That's a little weird. If you're not into, like, it was fond because you could look at each other and that wasn't illegal yet. You can remember and look back at your naked friends, you fucking weirdo. But yeah. With Len, the brother was a pop version of Fred Durst. And then the sister was like Lisa Loeb. Yeah, okay, yeah, I could see that. Oh, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, like, the masonry of it all. Yeah. And they showed, like, the boy bride ritual to an extent when they're bringing the kids in with the cage. Like, that's a part of a ritual they do. Oh, you were watching it last night. Yeah, true. Yeah, I gotta remember you guys, like, are watching the content, so you know exactly what I'm saying. You guys are here for it. You know what's up. It's awesome. It's good. Everyone's on the same page. Yeah, like, and I was talking to my buddy about that, and he even said, he's like, yeah, like, that's one of my favorite movies, and there's a lot of good, like, nostalgia, like, that reminds you of your childhood, and hanging out with your friends, and poking around in the woods, and poking dead animals and shit with a stick, like, all that shit's funny. But even he was like, yeah, I remember, like, thinking that was a really weird scene as a kid, like, that made me uncomfortable, and I didn't understand why that was in the movie, but it just was whatever, it's part of the movie. So you kind of just accept it. Nobody else, like, if nobody else is saying anything about it, none of the adults are saying anything, you kind of just accept it. Like, and that's how, on both hands, like, in one way, it's like they were grooming and exploiting those children in the movie while filming it. Because then what other angles and scenes and footage did they get from, like, yeah, we saw a 4-minute scene for the movie, but then how long were those kids having to stand around in their tighty whities? And what other zoom in, angles were they getting? Like, that alone is, like, trauma. And then you got to think all the kids watching it. Of like, why did I just have to, like, for, like, Little Rascals is another one. Why did I just sit here for 10 minutes watching Bug Hall, Alfalfa, run around in his tighty whities in the middle of a town, like, in the middle of outside, like, public. So that not only do you have all these crew members and creepy old people around, and he even said that was a movie that he had started things happening to him, right? So, that TW theory, I don't know. I think that they're trying to tell us something by having that. Because then you look at the Victor Salva's Clown House, who ended up convicted for crimes against the kid that was in that movie. And there was material made, and he was still backed by the same people after. He was welcomed into the Disney sphere after, ended up doing the Jeepers Creepers franchise. But that kid, basically the first 5 minutes of that movie is that kid in his tighty whities. So, like, what are y'all trying to tell us here? Why do you have scenes in your movies that are matching convicted predators scenes? Like, why do you have the same kind of scenes if you're not into the same thing, right? Like, why are there unnecessary scenes like that? And little girls too, but I think the abuses of little boys are less considered. Like, it's less talked about. There's less support for that. And, like, there's a reason why the ending their life rate is a lot higher and why we have a lot more lost souls that are little boys or young men than, where you've got, like, Misha Bard made it through, Drew Barrymore made it through, Britney Spears made it through, Amanda Bynes made it through, Aaron Carter didn't. People are getting worried about Justin. you know? So I think I've kind of formulated the theory more around the TW thing, but obviously it does apply to little girls too, and like there's all kinds of, there's a whole criteria I think that would include that, and how they hypersexualize and like rapidly adultify, but then also try to keep them infantilized as long as they can. So it's like a really weird dichotomy to live in. Yeah, Macaulay, Culkin, that poor guy. There's a reason he quit, and there's something going on there with the John Hughes guy, I'm pretty sure, in my gut. And there's a reason John Candy, there's a reason, like, there's so much going on there. But that's for another day. Kind of just chit-chat now and get ready to wrap her up here. Well, and then, yeah, think about how traumatizing all that stuff was, those movies like that, like Old Yeller and stuff. Think about what that was doing. And then movies we loved, like, one of my favorite movies when I was a little kid was Milo and Otis. And then imagine the trauma when I realized that, like, 40 kittens died or some shit in the making of that film. Which obviously, like, we figured that out pretty quick and stopped, like, we started using more CGI and stuff. But, yeah, it's a situation. It's a situation. But yeah, I think that was good. It was a good session. I think we got a lot done there. Yeah, well, you could see how it was refined and the techniques and the way they went about it and all of that. Like, well, if you look at, like, Marilyn Monroe, we started with Marilyn Monroe with the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. So now we've got Sabrina Carpenter, where, like, on the front of her album cover, I seen it was, she's like, they're using her hair as a leash, and it's man's best friend. Or whatever, and she's on her knees, and they've got her, like, it's very kink fetish imagery, and this is, like, little kids are looking up to this girl. She was, like, one of them Disney kids, like, or maybe not Disney, but one of those kids that was, like, child actress, whatever, main demographic is all these little girls, and then now you're teaching all these little girls to bend over and be man's best friend. Cool, because we don't have enough fucking problems and enough, child star to OF pipeline bop house shit going on at this point, It's fucked up. It's fucked up world. Couldn't handle a John Hughes rabbit. Oh, it's a whole thing. And I have theories, and some of it's like speculative, but I'm kind of just going with my gut now because the amount of things I've said or just not said, and then it's turned out to be confirmed, or I have said it and then it's been confirmed. Like, I was even more right than I thought in some cases, like with the Ruby Frankie thing. So I've tried to just trust my gut and see where it takes me at this point. But obviously I can't say anything for sure, but John Candy died at a weird time, Macaulay Culkin had quit, and John Hughes fled the scene. Like, he moved back to Chicago and never stepped foot in Los Angeles again. Like, he had a go-between, and then he had to deal with Disney, and he had a guy that was like the liaison to go between studios and stuff going on in LA for him. So there was just something weird there, and what the rumor on the street is, and it, like, the way that connects to the Heather O'Rourke thing, and it's a whole fucking thing. Oh, the Ziegfeld Follies. Yeah, that's like the grown-up version of the Meglin Kitties and the Wampus Baby Stars. There was a pipeline there, too, and it was just more clear back then. They weren't hiding it so much. But it's all the same. They still have stuff like that happening now. It's just more covered in glitter and glamour and whatever, Hollywood dreams. Oh, he did a ton of stuff. He basically created the Brat Pack. He did Pretty in Pink. He did 16 Candles. He did all those, like all of those Brat Pack movies. Molly Ringwald, like all of those. Emilio Estevez, like the whole Brat Pack. He invented that. He founded the Brat. He was the father of the Brat Pack, and then he went on to have his own company. He did the Home Alone movies. He did the National Lampoons. Like, he was a writer doing a bunch of stuff before he even became a director and started his own company. And yeah, he worked with John Candy a lot, and then with Macaulay Culkin, with Uncle Buck, and then with Home Alone. Yeah, that's a whole deep rabbit hole for when we're doing the Dark Hollywood. We'll go into that because I've added John Hughes in because I did add in the Sean Penn and Madonna and the Brat Pack node that I've connected Emilio to, and then Rob Lowe. So there's a few more of those to connect, but John Hughes is on there now, so we can connect Macaulay onto there and get that all onto the Hollywood map. Oh, but damn, I'm gonna need to catch up on some sleep here soon. I'm like, it's so much information too. Like pulling it out of my brain and putting it onto the map is like kind of been exhausting, like mentally a little bit. Yeah, he had a formula. Yeah, he had like the winning formula for in the late 80s, early 90s. Oh, the Brooke Shields thing. Don't even start me on Brooke Shields. Like, how come there's sexualized material made of you as a child that you couldn't have possibly agreed to or known what you were getting into? Then you go to court to have it taken out of circulation at 17, and you're told, oh no, there's too much artistic merit. We need your softcore Playboy shoot photos out in the world. Like, forget Blue Lagoon and Pretty Baby. Like, let's talk about how her mother sold her to Playboy, and then she couldn't get it taken out of circulation as going into an adulthood. She was still only 17, going in almost 18 when she went to court for it. But then having a judge tell you in your face, oh no, it's artistic merit. We have the right to provocative and erotic child material. Like, it's disgusting. It's a disgusting fucking world, man. But anyways, I think we'll leave it at that, and then yeah, we'll pick that up where we're leaving off when we do the next Dark Hollywood mind map, and we'll be working on this in between. Now that people are like the veil is being pulled back or whatever, the curtain's being pulled back, so I think we can really start looking at more of this in a big way, and it's okay. And whatever, at least I'm far enough away, and I think I have enough layers of security and safety that. As much as I should mention that, yeah, I don't want to end myself. I should mention that, but I think we're good to go to keep going in on this further and further and deeper and deeper. Oh, like for the outfits? Because it was like a period piece. It was an old movie, and like she was being auctioned. Like that movie's really fucked too. Like that's more fucked than the Blue Lagoon. Blue Lagoon's also really fucked, but yeah, that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing for another day. But yeah, we're gonna call it. We'll call it. It's almost 3.5 hours here, so we'll gotta get to the next thing here and get some things done before I crash. And I'm gonna take up too much of your guys' night. We all got things to do. So yeah. Until next time, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the flip side.
Red bricks crumble under my feet, a path that whispers a cursed heartbeat. Shadows stretch long, they know my name. Every step forward, it's all the same. The trees lean in, they're alive tonight. The moon's too scared to give me light. Follow the red brick road, they said. Where it leads, where it ends, no one's fled. It pulls, it drags, it swallows whole. The red brick road's got a price for your soul. Laughter echoes, but no one's near.